You can't silence us, Leo.
I'm kind
You
of
on mute?
What happened?
Nah, go ahead. Getting thick in the throat on me, nigga.
Wow. We can't even hear her. Yeah, you gotta unmute yourself.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Was we on pause that the whole time? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit, my bad. I was over here just talking away. Well, let me do it again. I got too many devices over here going. Welcome to another dope episode of the Phat Girl Chronicles, where we get all up in your business and discuss the topics that matter to us most each and every Tuesday, which we lovingly call Fat Tuesday, right here on Facebook and YouTube. And we are back on Instagram from 8 to 10 p.m., baby. We up in this thing. And tonight, we got none other than my favorite DEI homegirl, Miss Elise Smith in the building. And listen, when I tell y'all, this is a conversation that we've been looking forward to. I don't know about y'all, but I've been looking forward to this conversation. And I knew who exactly who to call on when it came down to having this conversation. Because it's all over everywhere. We talking about DEI this, DEI that. And who else to have other than my DEI homegirl? Okay, let me tell y'all a little bit about Elise. Okay, she is from Detroit, Michigan. That's where Pooch always say I'm from.
Oh, shit.
That's where Pooch always try to say that I'm from. But she focuses her research on fat body experiences using photography, podcasting, spoken word, and social media to amplify these narratives. When I tell you she a bad mother, shut your mouth. That's what she is, okay?
She know how to fight. That's what I know.
Listen, she is a doctoral student in the Urban Education Studies program at IU Indianapolis. And she employs frameworks like Black feminist thought, intersectionality, and critical race theory to create celebratory spaces for marginalized identities. Okay? That's a lot of big words. Go look them up if y'all don't understand them. Okay? Smith's work in diversity, equity, and inclusion draws on her experience with first-generation low-income students and racial equity. She is the 2024 Elevate Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advocate of the Year Award recipients and a columnist for the Indianapolis Recorder as their hashtag DEI homegirl. Okay? So we came on here to have the conversation with the right person at the right time. And we're going to bring her on. We're going to hop into the conversation. Do a little chit-chatting. Hey, Doc.
What up?
How is you?
Hey, I'm good.
What, Doc? What is this get up tonight?
Hey, first of all, after that performance Sunday night, I had to get in the character, get in the mood.
Okay, well, we're gonna let you be in your character and in your mood.
We ain't turning no TV off tonight.
That whole conversation.
We ain't turning no TV off tonight. There we go. I'm here.
We gonna get into that conversation in the second hour.
Got the shades on.
Right, he came ready. But anywho, hey, homegirl. What's up? Can't hear ya. We can't hear ya. We can't hear you, girl. That's okay. Take your time. Take your time.
See, that's what happened when they. That's what happened when they turn the D. That's what happened when they turn the DEI off. They try to silence us.
Nah. Can you hear anything now?
Yep, there we go.
Okay. See, I was gonna figure it out. Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
How you doing?
Good to see you.
I'm good to see your face, friend. I just want to say thank you for reading that bio. Made me sound way more educated than I feel. So I thank you for that. But also just providing space to be on this platform tonight.
Absolutely, honey. It's been so much going on. I definitely feel like the conversation was necessary so people can have some understanding of what we're looking at here. Because we keep hearing the letters. We keep hearing the word DEI. We keep hearing all of that. We keep hearing all of those things. And some of us, we know what it is. We don't know the depths of it. We don't know how it will affect us or what we do or all of the things around us. So why not have this conversation? Why not talk about it? And why not talk about it with my DEI homegirl? And why not talk about it with one of my favorite podcasters and writers and all of that good stuff? So I wanted to make
sound important. I don't like that.
Huh?
I said you're making me sound important. I don't know if I like that.
Because you is okay. But one of the only people that I come across on a regular basis who make it a point to talk about these kind of things and to shed light on these spaces. So I definitely wanted to make sure that right now, with everything that's going on, that we had a conversation with somebody who is well versed instead of having a conversation just over, kind of just giving a glazed over discussion about what DEI is. So where shall we start, honey?
Okay, y'all jump in and I'll jump in. Well, no, let's start first of all. I don't like these misconceptions and ideas about people from Detroit, okay? First,
listen.
Let's start there, right? I may have been in Indiana for a while now, but Detroit is home. Shout out to Finkel Avenue 313. Also, shout out to Southfield, where my grandparents was. So they was the Jay-Z and Beyonce of our family, right? But don't come for Detroit like that, please.
So you can't fight.
I didn't say that either.
Exactly. That's all I said. I just want to get that out the way. All right.
They always come for Detroit and Gary. So
like we cousins. Like why they doing that to us? But it's okay. That's all right. Pablo, we'll figure it out. I'll let you come visit. So now that I got that out the way, now feel free. Y'all can start the discussion officially.
I don't know about visit, but I'll drive past.
That's good enough. We'll make sure you stop.
So funny. So we just go, girl. I don't even know where to begin because there's so much happening. So
what does DEI stand for? Let's start there.
All right, let's get into it. So DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. What I remind people is it's not just a phrase, right? It's literally a framework, and these things separately cannot work without working in tandem together. So for me, when I look at these different things, diversity, right? That could be the diversity of identity. So your sexual orientation, your gender, your race, your socioeconomic status, where you come from, who you is, who you don't know, your histories. That can also be the diverse of thought and experiences, right? But diversity is a thing that even on this phone, for the most part, it looks like we can all identify we all is Black, right? But what our experiences look like, our family, our place of origin, where we, the experiences we have, those are the things that make us diverse. And we can add that to a lot of those different individuals. Equity is this thought process to say, a lot of people talk about equality. Everybody deserves the same. However, historically and even currently, everybody doesn't get the same. We don't have the same access to housing. We don't have the same access to healthcare, education, the list goes on. So equity is saying, for me, looking at the historical pieces and saying, how do we make sure that we actually create critical experiences for these individuals by saying, it's like starting a race, and you'll hear this analogy a lot. If we both start at the same line and run, it depends on your ability to run, all of these different things. But if you start 20 yards ahead of me, you have an advantage, or I have to work just as hard just to catch up with you, right? So equity is this space of saying, let's look at our programs, practices, and policies. Are we noticing, and we do, notice that there's certain groups, certain identities who are not having access to those things, like I said, education, healthcare, even representation. When you look at the leaders in our country, a lot of them don't look like us, right? That is not an accident. That is very intentional. It's also not an accident that you see a lot of people who look like me, specifically Black women, in these roles, because again, you do the work to fix the problems that we created. But we also are going to get in your way and stop the resources because we know you're going to fix the problems that we created. And then inclusion is not this framework of everybody should be welcome, because we know everybody is not welcome. Inclusion is the opportunity to say, here's the space that's here, right? So many people use the analogy, I want a seat at the table. Don't ask for a seat at the table that you're not invited to. Create your own table. And if you got some time, knock their table over and get the hell out the room, right? Because they didn't want you there no way. So for me, diversity, equity, inclusion is an opportunity to look at the programs, practices, and policies that we have, actually engage in saying, how do we continue to interrupt these inequities? And the reason why we're seeing a lot of this anti-DEI is because they see that it works. It's a distraction that they're trying to bring up now. You're overturning things that, and get it, like, I want to be honest to all my ancestors, the ones that have passed and the ones that are living. You are tired of screaming and fighting for these resources. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm not tired, because I know the work works. It may be one person at a time. It may be multiple people at a time, but I've seen it work. That's why they want to overturn a lot of that. So I'm going to shut up and let y'all take the floor again, but that's what DEI means for me. And I could go into this big theoretical thing, right? Because I am in school. But the reason why I call myself the homegirl is because you can talk to your homegirl about any and everything. You don't have to be the smartest in the room. You're not going to be judged for nothing. And if you make a mistake, your homegirl going to snag you in your behind, and it ain't going to be a public display, but they get in the room and be like, hey, you know what you said was fucked up, right? Don't do it no more.
Right.
I'm going to help you and get it together. That's why I do that, because I can have that PhD, right? Eventually I will have it, and I'll be Dr. Elise Smith. But Dr. Elise Smith can't get to the ears of the people in my neighborhood. They homegirl who actually care is going to get to their ears and be like, hey, look, this is what you need to do, but don't tell them I told you. Go do that. I'm not trying to gatekeep. So although I'm around a lot of scholars and I appreciate their knowledge and their wisdom, I want to be the person that be like, at least I can call her. She'll break it down and she won't judge me if I don't understand it. That's my goal of being that homegirl. Okay, now I'm going to shut up.
And that's why we brought you here, because, and that's why Doc is here too. Doc is very political, and we had him come on here last week and explain some political things to us, because your homegirl right here, that's not my realm of expertise. So somebody tell me, somebody explain it to me, and I don't have no problem with saying I don't know when it comes to certain things, but also don't play me. Don't play me. Don't try to make me feel like I was, make me feel small because I don't know. But it's definitely worth asking the question so that you can gain an understanding. That's the biggest part, is what you don't know, ask the questions. Or if you don't know what questions to ask, just start with what you got. You know what I'm saying? So that way you can have an understanding of everything that's going on.
And real quick to your point, I'm going to tell everybody listening on here, never feel shame for what you don't know. I tell my students that all the time. If you knew it, you wouldn't need me. If you knew it, you wouldn't have to be here. And I tell everybody this: I am not an expert. I have expertise. And the reason why is because it's the mindset. If you think you're an expert, anytime you hear any challenge, especially in academic spaces, now I feel like all this research and work that I did, I don't have all the answers. You're not going to have them. You ain't no higher power. You just a regular big back individual like me. So just act normal, right? And I tell people I have expertise, though. Yes, I have the experience. Yes, I have some of the knowledge, but I'm always going to be a lifelong learner. And I'm not talking about books. I'm talking about experiences I don't have. And the last thing I'll say before I shut up again is get you mentors that are not just older than you, but younger than you. I'll always be a younger mentor. And then I ask them to get somebody younger, because now I'm finally starting to understand what my grandparents were saying. Well, they was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, they'll say something. I'd be like, so what that mean? It means something I understand. But if you get too highfalutin, that language feels like you don't understand it. And you're like, oh, they don't have no issues. They do, but you didn't take the time to listen to your community, and where they're saying they need food, but because they're using a different lingo or a different language, you miss out on understanding what they have. So don't ever be afraid to ask what. Ain't nobody got all the answers. Not even Google. Because I asked something the other day and they said, did you mean? And I said, so you don't know the answer either. So don't.
They hit you with a question like, so
what you was trying to say. So no, don't ever, at least not for me. Hit me up, ask me a question, do it.
Don't ask Google what the Gulf of America is, because the show will tell you the answer as of the day.
All right, you trying to stress me out, Doc? Because I see that today. It's on there. And I see you drinking adult apple juice. That's what's up.
Hey, that's what I ain't gonna do it. We ain't sponsored. Hey, I do got a question for you though. If you could, for the audience, what is the difference between DEI and affirmative action?
Ooh,
that's good. Affirmative action was created as a pipeline to say, hey, we're noticing certain individuals are not getting into spaces, specifically higher education institutions. Actually, it benefited white women more than it benefited Black people, right? So what we were noticing is these institutions, when they were made historically, were either was created by, not created, but built on the backs of slaves, built on the back of marginalized communities. There was a point in time where Blacks were not allowed into colleges. If you were a woman, you were not allowed into a college. And then once they started to integrate, if you were Black, you had to stand in a hallway to get the same lecture somebody in the classroom was getting, right? Simply because of that race barrier. So when we think about affirmative action, it was not this space of saying we have to accept people just because of their race. It was because you all were not accepting people because of their race, right? I apply, I got the GPA, I got the knowledge, but it's like, you could look up different documentation where they said, hey, we can't accept you because you're a Negro. Like, could you imagine opening up an admissions letter and they say like, yeah, no, because you're Black, or you know what that looks like. So what happens is there's a lack of knowledge and research. A lot of people clickbait. They want to figure out the first couple words and then build their own stories within that space. So I can't say there's a difference. DEI is one of those spaces that say, and again, they work in tandem, right? This is where some of that stuff comes out of it. DEI is a new phrase, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion, but this was multicultural education. This was cultural education, right? It was always about looking at difference and figuring out a way to include these voices. So a lot of misconceptions around affirmative action is coming from this space of saying, hey, this only benefits one group. The same rhetoric they have for diversity, equity, inclusion, right? This is the Black people problem. This is, they're turning DEI into they didn't earn it, right? And for me, I say they want DEI to DIE because they know the value of it, because now we're holding you accountable to say, you're not just going to use us for our talents, but you got to also let us into those spaces. In Mississippi, I can't recall the year, they had a 6-year ban where they were not buying from racist organizations, gas stations, and they went to the Supreme Court to sue the individual. His name was Charles, that told us like, hey, don't do this, because they saw the value of the Black dollar. We have more control, but because we are literally put in spaces where it's like, no, our voice don't matter. Yes, you do. Stop going to Target today.
Oh, baby, listen.
I guarantee you by Friday, it'll be Target, okay? Target. It'll be all of that trying to bring you all back into this space. So as far as affirmative action, it was a pipeline, again, policy to bring in those marginalized voices. But again, people thought it was just for Black individuals, but it actually wasn't. It was to say we're starting to see numbers not be there to show representation. But again, they're only doing it as a performative action, as a response, not because they truly wanted to make a change in the system.
It's funny you mentioned Target. As you said that, I just looked up their stock, and we actually talked about this whether it was 1 or 2 episodes ago, that, as you said, stop going to and patronizing a chain that does not appreciate DEI. But if we stop doing that, it also hurts their market share. So as I look back at their stock right around the time that Trump, or 47, I would never say president, just for you to know, and Trump in the same sentence.
Please and thank you.
So right around when 47 got into office, Trump's stock, kind of was where it was. It shot up on the 27th of January. But ever since then that we started positioning ourselves to not go to Target, it has dropped as of today below where it was on January 16th. And it is getting close to where it was in December, which was also a low. So to your point, us doing a boycott or the fill up the shopping carts, go to the restaurant and walk out, it is impacting Target.
It is, because their shareholders are actually also suing them now.
Yep.
Because they never released to them that they were going to stop DEI. They never told them.
Yep.
They never told them. So right now, they about to be in a bit of to lose a bit more money, because their shareholders are actually suing them because they never explained to them like, hey, we about to stop doing this, just to let you know. But they just did it.
They're gonna sue the bullseye off that little dog.
Yeah, they pretty much are. They pretty much are. So I got a question for you. Break this down for me. DEI was to take care of who?
Fair. So I have a few thoughts on that, right? DEI was not to educate our people or people within historically silenced identities. So whether that's your race, your national origin, difference within languages. So the people who are not the main the main culture, it was not to educate us. That was not the point. What it was to elevate our narratives and stories. So that's the one thing. I think people think like there's no point of me going to a DEI space to tell people about DEI who do DEI. For the most part, I assume most of them get it. DEI was to inform the people who were creating programs, practices, and policies and excluding those individuals, right? Based on their race, based on their gender, based on all the, I'll say isms and phobias for the rest of this conversation so I don't have to list them all out. So hello, homeboys and girls and friends. So with that, I say, it was never created for us to kind of explain what we were going through. We created community out of that. So I've been to conferences, I've had conversations, I've even been in spaces where it's just like, hey, I need to talk to somebody because am I tripping? Am I losing my mind? Because I feel like I'm telling people stuff and they keep telling us no, right? So that's the first thing. It wasn't to educate us. It did create a sense of community so we could figure out what was going on. But in my opinion, DEI was created to hold these organizations accountable. And by accountable, we're talking, let's go back to Target really quickly. A lot of people, for me personally, I'm not going to Target, filling up no basket and walking off. That's a waste of my time when I could go be doing something else, right?
That's a waste of my gas. You're absolutely right. I'm not wasting my gas to drive to Target, okay?
To go fill up 3-4 carts
but I'm
and
not
pull
about
it up
to
to the
waste
counter
it,
and walk out. I don't got the time.
And it is, to me, it's performative. It doesn't really put any action behind it.
Nope.
And I also feel like that's when people could use that against us to further make it seem like this is a joke. I don't got time. For me, I'm not a political person, but I'll spend my time going up to the State House and saying what I need to say, right? Even if I'm nervous, even if I'll go up there because, again, I'm getting the ear of people who are making decisions. And if it's enough of us yelling and doing that, I'd rather piss them off than piss somebody off at Target who got
Target, because they only doing their job. That's the only thing they're doing. They're doing their job, and
they're gonna be putting them go backs back because that's their job. Their job security. Put them back on the shelf.
I'm not wasting my time to do that. Like you said, I feel like a lot of people are going out of their way just so for the likes and the views to do those kind of things. Like you don't really have a purpose other than for likes and views, and instead of it actually being geared towards making a change. And you going in Target and putting stuff in the cart and moving and checking out and then walking out, that's not really making a big change.
Are they really doing that though?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they recording it. They absolutely are doing it. They absolutely are doing it.
Everything's content, Moses.
Yeah.
Everything's content.
Everything is content.
Everything is content. They absolutely are
so
doing it.
You actually got time just to walk into Target.
And they filling up 2, 3, 4 carts, going up to the counter, have them bring it all up and say, I don't want it.
And they get 100,000 likes, and then they get paid.
Because it's the most recent viral one was of a pastor, and I'm like,
the pastor did.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me Jesus told him to go do money?
The church needs money.
So Jesus told him to go get.
It's a building fund.
I don't know if
Jesus ain't telling.
I'm about to say the Lord.
The Lord didn't tell him, but that's that building fund so they can finally put that one door knob on that one door in the basement of the church.
And fix
that's
the
why he left
window on the back window on the back. You know what I mean? We good. We can move it up and down now.
Well, wait a minute. Can we get an amen that he didn't use the church money on that one? Amen.
Hey, we don't know that. It could have been on the credit card. Could have been
on.
Y'all know what?
So I have a question.
Crazy.
For a lot of people, the term DEI seems new. How old is DEI actually?
A million years. No.
Like what?
Really? No. It was in the olden days. No, I would say it comes out of the civil rights era, so around the 1960s.
Okay.
I specifically talk about 1968, remembering 1968. Shout out to a professor I worked with on this project a few years ago. But 1960, I'll speak about specifically because that was the year that, oh my God, his name is escaping me. What was the gentleman who raised his fist at the Olympics and lost everything? The black guy.
Jesse Powell.
Jesse
You know
Owens.
who-
Yes.
Jesse Owens.
So
Yeah.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's not something.
after 8 o'clock, usually my brain decided to go to sleep, so I'm trying to stay up because I wake up at 4 in the morning. I don't know.
Hey, you need some apple juice.
You know, I'm going.
Nah, because she probably be over there even sleepier then.
No, when you get a little adult grape juice, everything gets better.
Oh, okay.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Because we ain't gonna be talking about no DE. I'm gonna be DIE. What's up with the DIE initiative?
No, please don't mix it up. But I would say that the civil rights era, right? This is where we were seeing protests take place, and we were holding people accountable, right? By holding them accountable, we weren't boycotting just to give them a little bit of time and then go back once they start ignoring us, right? We boycotted with, having conversations with our local churches, our community centers, talking to actually police officers, right? Coming with government, having discussions to say, we see you're treating us with a disadvantage. And unfortunately, in those spaces, there were casualties, right? We saw people get locked up, sprayed down with hoses, dogs, weaponized, use those spaces. So the civil rights era is one of those eras where we actually started to push back. We started to say, no, we're not going to take it. And we didn't say like, oh, if this thing start getting hot, we're going to just drop these issues. That's why we can still celebrate holidays like Martin Luther King. We still have heroes like Malcolm X. And they try to romanticize these individuals as though like Martin Luther King was a tyrant, right? He was a tyrant. He just had a suit on, but he was literally like stop playing with me. Just because I use big words don't mean I won't throw these hands, right? So I want people to stop saying like he had a dream. It's like y'all ain't read the whole speech. You haven't read all of his speeches. He was fighting for that equality for, yes, all children, all men, all women, all people in general, but it didn't come with this hand-holding, handshaking type situation. So when we think about the civil rights era, these were individuals who were tired. They were angry. They were like, we're not going back to what was dubbed as slavery then. We're still seeing modern day slavery. Let's think about the countless lives of Black individuals that were slaughtered. Let's think about the countless lives of those from the LGBTQ plus community who were denied access, right? We have to think these things are still happening, and it's at the hands of those who don't even enter the spaces that we're in. Notice the people who are making the rules and changes, they don't live in the communities that we live in. However, the communities that we are in or even adjacent from are the ones who are being harmed. So when we look back at that time frame, it literally takes a historical look at this was the time, in my opinion, where they said that group of people like, this shit stops here. And they were willing to fight. One thing that happened a couple weeks ago, I went to the State House and I was looking around and I saw all the people who were advocating, like who were not just there to spectate or observe, were older. And the thing about it is our younger generation is not coming and don't have a succession plan to follow this work up, right? These people are fighting, they're getting to their ends. And one gentleman walked in, he said, I'm so glad you spoke tonight. He said, because I don't know how much longer I have. He said, I'm not going to die tomorrow, but I can't keep fighting this fight forever. I know there's days I'm looking up and I'm like, this has been a long year, right? They've been doing this for decades. So when we go back to that era, they held people accountable. They marched, they protest, they went and they found lobbyists, policymakers. They really went into those communities because all people of color, all Black people, we're not just entertainers. We're not just rappers. We're not just basketball players, right? We have lawyers, we have educators, we have doctors. And there's a reason it's a small number is because one, the pipelines have been restricted on purpose. And that civil rights era was saying, now we're going to move past that because we know we need this access. We know we need our own doctors. We know we need our own lawyers, teachers, and educators, because when we get in a space, y'all separating us. I've seen videos recently where an educator took all the Black kids, told them to go to the back of the room in color, and then taught literacy to all the white kids in the front. Now people say, no, that's like, I mean, maybe, why is there a difference? We know coloring, yeah, we're going to have some creative stuff, but at the same time, literacy is also needed, and you're saying we won't be able to get it, and I'm going to intentionally restrict you from that. So looking back at that era, doing the research, there's countless names, there's countless individuals we can talk to, but it was there. That was, for me, the era of holding people accountable. And if you want to talk about standing on business, that was the
era. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Did I answer your question, Fran?
Yes. Thank you.
So with all of the things that have been taking place, and how can... Sorry, lost my wording.
That's okay.
When we look at the companies creating these programs and all of these things, a lot of companies create it for the look, for the to look like they're doing something.
Come on, celebrate.
Okay. Don't know. I hate that thing. But there is a difference in like having the Black faces in the room and actually participating and creating like situations where we can be a part of things, equitable and supportive situations. But then there's also where they just have the token Black person. How do we as employees or business owners, how do we make sure that we are creating those spaces that are actually doing the work instead of it making it look like we're doing the work and the work isn't truly being done?
I say, look at your decision makers. If all your decision makers look like you and they don't have any diversity or any representation, you only have them there for a mouthpiece or to be that puppet. Would you allow that person that came in that room who you're trying to pander to, would you allow them to make decisions? Have you even invited them to make decisions? Have you even considered what they're saying? Or have you only called on them to be like, hey, we need you to do this thing and you're the face for it, right? For example, if you have a space and every time you're trying to recruit, a different identity and you have to use an identity to attract that identity. So for example, if you have to say it's our Black person who is not in any leadership, but we want you to come to this interview because we want to show them around our space. You don't have me there for that. And that's usually what happens is once those two people get, and I've seen it many times, once those two people get along, they be like, hey, don't work here. They do not care about what you think they care about. The reason why I am here is because I still need a check.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to live. I still need my benefits. But I am also aiming to get up out of here. This new generation, I will give it to you. I shout out to the YNs and everybody else. They don't play with nobody. Okay. You disrespect them, they will kick your water fountain and down and burn it up. And I'm not saying violence is the answer.
It is.
But
Sometimes.
I ain't scared. Okay. Here's my philosophy. I've told people this a few times. I'm not the biggest fan of violence, right? Because what does that do? But I feel like if you're gonna pass a problematic law, policy, or anything, let's have a parking lot fight. Here's the thing. You got the person who want to create this policy or bill, had them stand on one side of the parking lot. You got everybody else who's going to be impacted by that on the other end. On the count of 3, y'all all start fighting. If you beat up everybody in the parking lot, pass your law and your policy. Got it. If you get beat up, go home, take an aspirin, and realize how you messed up, right? And now that policy don't pass. Because I think at this point, too many people are tired of screaming and doing this. So when I look at employers, are you only celebrating people during Black History Month, Women History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, Pride Month, Asian and Pacific Islander Month? Like, these months actually are important because they uplift people. But when you take a step back, so this is the only time y'all care. This is the only time I'm going to see my product there. This is the only time I'm going to see my voice uplifted. And then as soon as the end of the month comes, we're on to the next. Mm-hmm. How do you look at your people? Where are you recruiting? Are you only recruiting on Indeed, or are you going to the HBCUs? Are you going to the women colleges? Are you going to the local churches? Are you going to the community centers? Are you going to those spaces and saying there's possibility here? Or are you being elitist and saying you have to meet us here, even though you have the talent? And if you can't get there and we create these barriers, then you can't be here anyway. My grandfather used to tell me all the time, he was a truck driver. We grew up having Cadillacs. I appreciate that. Shout out to the diamond in the back. But my grandfather would never drive his car to work. And I never could understand as a kid why. And then when I got a little bit older, he said, because if they knew what I'm doing with the money that they think they're giving me, he was like, I'm going to catch hell for it. So, for example, there was a truckload to California for like $10,000. And he was like, yeah, I'm available. I can do it. They hesitated so long so they could find somebody else because they said we could never see a Black man making $10,000. Because what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. And years later, my grandmother had to come get my grandfather because he was in a truck accident, and the car she had to pull up in is their car back at home, their Cadillac. And they pulled up. They ain't worried about nothing else. They said, "Who are you here for?" Right? She was like, "James Steeple," and they were like, "This y'all car?" My grandfather just got in an accident, and you're worried about the woman that just stepped out of this car because it perceives you shouldn't have what you have. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather said, ever since that moment, he just wished he hadn't came up there. He was like, he was denied lows. Anything that seemed like he could make some money, because it's like, how are you getting as far as you getting? And we know how much you're making. So again, these employers, they have those different things that happen. We hear the narratives, the stories. I've even had students who work in HR who say, yeah, we have been told to throw applications away if your name sounds ethnic. So now you have people who are putting initials. They're moving their names around just so they can get to the interview. And if they're really stuck on what they're looking for, you come in there with you sound like you speak a second language. You look like you may be from a different community. They automatically will cut you. Oh, thank you. We appreciate you so much. And you never hear a call back. I've experienced that a few times, right? At least come on and then eyes get big when this big black woman walk in the room and they look like, oh, we thought, what did you think? So employers have to take a good look at yourself. Are you tokenizing people for what they look like? Or are you actually trying to get the talent to bring what they want? And DEI creates that space where it's like, we don't have a discrimination if you have a disability, if you show up looking different, if you come with a different race. But now, because there was a consequence to that, we'll take the consequences out the way. We can play the game we want to play.
And I do want to apologize. Yeah, Mark B did correct me. It was Tommy Smith and John Carlos who held the fists up at the 1968.
That's why he got
we gonna get Mark B on here
all loud
soon.
and wrong.
Mark B is really into politics and history as well, so we'll get him on here soon.
He got eyebrows. The next correspondent need to have eyebrows.
Wow.
I'm gonna do like this for the rest of the show.
Oh
wow. Yo,
Okay.
Y'all
yo, Pablo, yo, you need to chill.
So let's kind of move backwards a little bit. So we listed your bio at the beginning, you know, all the things that you do and all of the important work that you have done. So as a DEI advocate and scholar, you've dedicated your work to creating space for these identities and all of these different people. What sparked your passion for this work?
So my grandparents raised me. So internally, I'm 65. So my nickname is Spicy Granny. I don't have on a Spicy Granny outfit today. So usually it's a little too much.
And moo.
Okay. No.
No moo.
Not yet.
Okay.
I still got a couple of summers before I jump into a moo.
You just gotta move. You gotta move.
Just a moo. Not even a moo. Just a moo.
The moo works. The moo works.
The moo works. Listen, my mama wore them. Now I'll be honest. Have I had one on? Absolutely, and I see why they in them.
You go.
Okay.
Let that thing air out.
You got to.
Focus, guys. Focus.
All right, my bad.
Focus.
Hey, it's the apple juice. My bad.
I knew it. When ice cubes wasn't melting, I said something right. This tone ain't right in that cup. That's a strong drink. But no, so my grandparents raised me, right? Real quick story. My grandparents were born in Wearshow, South Carolina. So South Carolina, this big, Wearshow, about that big. And every time I've ever went down there, it was like 2 snakes, a raccoon, and them. And I'm like, what do y'all do down here, right? But we will always visit my great grandmother who passed at the age of 94. So, you know, I appreciate, you know, I Devin, I know you hear me on here and you getting on my nerves. I just wanted to put that out there. But anyway, so my grandparents were in Wearshow, South Carolina. And I never forget one day I was at the house. I was in Bloomington. I had started my master's. It was the first time moving out of state. And my grandfather was in the kitchen. And my grandfather is a deep-skinned colored man. And my grandmother's about the color of the back of my palm. And one day he was like, with your high yellow self. And I said, so, you know, I'm a social justice warrior. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. What you mean high yellow? And he was like, well, that's why I married her. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to beat my granddaddy up. Like, I'm never getting into heaven.
Not you going to beat up Gramps?
Me and granddaddy was going to throw hands. I was going to take him outside to show him a good time. Then I had to take him
him Detroit.
See?
Let's put it out there. Let's put it out there.
Roots.
How do I leave? Where's the exit, Leo? How do I get up out of here? But nevertheless, so I noticed that. So then I took a step back and I said, hold on. I said, well, why? What you mean that's why you married her? He was like, because I didn't want to have dark children. I said, yo, I'm going to really have to knock my granddaddy off his feet. Like, I'm going to have to really be wondering my household. Like, I don't know why I got to do that. Kids, Google it if you didn't get that reference. But I'm going to have to really do this for my granddaddy. But then something in me said, take a step back. And I said, all my life, I have come home and had to watch the news. So I've always seen the stressors of the world. My grandparents always watched the news. We always had conversation around politics. And these were people who did not even have a high school education. But my grandmother worked at General Motors all my life, and retired. My grandfather was a truck driver. They had good money. It's not as good money now, but back then they had it together, right? So I'm looking at, we've always dealt with these issues. We've always talked to them. And honestly, I've always felt like I've had to know the reality of the world. I never got to escape it by living in this la-la land, but they never also put it in my face to say, hey, you're struggling, we're doing this. They did the best that they could. So going back to the story about where me and my grandfather in the kitchen, I said, well, what do you mean you didn't want our children? He said, because I was always stopped by the police, mistreated when I was in wear shows. He said, because I was a Black man. So I had to move my family in a lot of capacities because I didn't want my children to go through what I went through. Now let's take a step back. At this time, my grandfather was 18 years old when he made this decision. He said, I love your grandmother, I do, but I knew if I wanted my children to have a better future, I had to make a decision by changing their skin tone to the best of my ability. Yes, I wanted Black children, but I knew I also had to get a fair-skinned white. And I had to take a moment to say, that's a huge decision to make at 18. This wasn't when TikTok was hot. We see TikTok almost not hot no more, but this wasn't when you were supposed to go out and do these things. You were told, hey, graduate high school, get a partner, have kids, live happily ever after. But happily ever after looks different when you're in certain communities that don't like who you are. Not because of your content or your character, but literally who you are. So that moment for me really solidified the value of this work. And then the other thing that kept this thing moving for me was when 45 was first elected, I got a phone call. My grandmother's usually the one that calls and my grandfather would be in the background, but I seen an old man pop up on the phone. And I picked up the phone and I said, hey, old man, what's going on? He was like, nothing much. And I said, you didn't broke something back at the house that's mine, and now you want to tell me? He was like, no. So I heard his voice cracking. And he was like, I just want to tell you I'm sorry. I said, what do you mean? He said, I saw the election results, and I just knew I had finally got my family away from the decisions of the world that will literally hate us. And he said, yet again, I didn't get my children out of it, and I couldn't save my grandkids. That shook me in a way that I've never been able to be shaken before. And when my grandfather, I tell people all the time, my grandfather was my biggest DEI project, right? Where I would go home and try to see if I could change this 82, 83-year-old man's mind, maybe I could change the world, right? And I would go home, we'd have conversations, we would talk about things that were challenging for him because he grew up in a different era. But when we would have a conversation perspective, I see those things would change for him. And I've appreciated my grandfather so much. Unfortunately, June of 2024, my grandfather passed. And that was the first major death I've ever experienced in my 35 years of living. And I remember prior to him dying, he said, hey, gal. I said, hey, grandpa. He said, I need you to finish school, right? I said, I'm going to finish. He's like, because I don't know if I'm going to live to see it. And I was like, oh, man, stop that. And I wish he was right. I wish he was wrong, right? I wish he was wrong. But I promise, I said, when I get this PhD, I'm going to come slap it up there at that grave and tell you, I told you I was going to do it, right? But the reason why is because my grandfather always pushed education because he never had access to it. He was always denied it. Hooked on phonics. I remember he got me a Gateway computer, right? Everybody else may not know, but Gateway was that big back with them cots. So the moo-moos, I've been had moo-moos, right? Mine just happened to be on a hard drive. But I remember when AOL had the dial-up, my grandparents ran and got the internet. They was like, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but we're going to make sure you have it. And I never forget, I used to tie up the house phone, right? Why? I'm back here doing homework. I was in chat rooms. I was Googling stuff that Google wasn't even a thing. I was on Ask Jeeves. I was tearing up that house phone all day, but they always said, don't you interrupt that girl's school because we need her to be able to do it. So the fact that these people didn't have education, I remember, I hope my grandmother never sees this. My grandmother wasn't the strongest reader, but she would buy a dictionary. And I remember she bought the Scholastic Children's Dictionary, and she would go in there and she would find the word. And to this day, that dictionary got black duct tape on it because we tore that dictionary down. They bought me encyclopedias. And that's why I I'm not that bright. So I'm like, I clearly wasn't reading the right pages.
Girl, bye.
Hey, one day I'm going to really call you. But I say that to say my grandparents came from nothing, but they tried to give me everything. And now even in this moment, I see why they said they can take everything from you, but they can't take your education. Sure.
Yep.
And I see that more and more, right? I see
Yep.
they have been able to thrive. So I share that because if you still have a grandparent, go talk to them.
Listen.
Go ask them what it looks like, because what we seeing now, they've seen it multiple times.
Oh, how I wish. Okay.
Right. And if you don't have somebody, to be honest with you, go to your local nursing home. Those people will love to talk to you. If you only got an hour, give them an hour. If you only got 30 minutes, you'll learn so much, because this is the history they continue to erase. They literally have erased slavery out of textbooks by saying it's sharecropping. They literally have erased narratives by shifting and saying these people wanted to do this work. I watched my grandparents literally climb from absolutely nothing to where they are now. And the fact that I've always been protected by them saying, we're going to make sure if you don't have nothing else besides food in your mouth and clothes on your back, you make sure you know how to navigate this world by having an education. So those days where I hate watching the news, I love it so much now. I ain't gonna watch the news now because I'm tired, but that's kind of where I got, and that's why the fight won't die with me, because I remember somebody fought and prayed for me when I didn't even know they was fighting and praying for me. So losing my grandfather really solidified I ain't going nowhere in this work. Even if I gotta be a rapper, I tell Kendrick scoot over. I got some shit to say too. But outside of that,
I don't know how good I'm gonna be at it, but
yeah, you better put some bell bottoms on.
Listen, I'm a rapper by heart. That's my party trick. People be like, "Oh, we about to freestyle." I be like, "Bet, let me blow the socks off these people."
Listen, I mean, I can get up there and do a little spoken word, but you know, I don't know about no rapping.
No, you actually right.
Somebody write it for me, give me the cadence, and then we can, you know, I can write it. Y'all give me the cadence, and we gonna make it do what it do. Okay. Oh, this is so good. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you have not already, go on over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It is free 99 to do so, and then hit that little bell right next to it so that you can get notified each and every time we go live. Thank you, Mark B, Marcy G, Devin, and Ubiquitous Blacks for tuning in tonight. If y'all got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, okay? And then let us know where you tuning in from tonight. If this is your first time here, Devin, this is my first time seeing your name, so we welcome you, friend. Welcome to the Phat Fam.
Yeah, Devin, go ahead and subscribe real quick. Go ahead, subscribe, Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all
got any other real deal Holyfield.
I got plenty of questions, but if y'all don't have any other ones, you know, if y'all got some other ones, go ahead and shoot them out. Let's get to it.
So for DEI, we done talked about Agent Orange, 47, 45, whatever you want to call it. Is DEI the cause of plane crashes, the Chiefs losing the Super Bowl?
I know you better stop.
Kendrick Lamar winning all those Grammys, just all of the above. Is DEI the cause of it? Because going back to who DEI really originally helped and supported, and we listed the top 8 individuals of what DEI actually, who DEI actually supported, and African Americans, Black folk, was number 8.
It was number 8.
So, according to 47 and all his minions, is DEI really the cause of all this stuff that's happening? Because there has been so many plane crashes, collisions, colliding on the tarmacs. I don't know if you've seen that. That was one, I think, either today or yesterday, where two planes ran into each other. So is that really the cause of all this stuff going on, or is it just political hype?
Absolutely. DEI calls on all kind of hell, right? Here's my thing. If that is true, right? If DEI is really the cause, why is it now that these things are banned, we are starting to see the issues now? Why we wasn't seeing the issues of plane crashes and, you know, unearned Grammys and all of the other stuff? Why weren't we seeing this before? Why is it now that when we see individuals are making strides? Let's take TikTok, for example. Here's my thoughts on why TikTok is even banned, right? People say, oh, they didn't want us to spy on us. How many of y'all really read the terms and conditions before you press apply? There was it was something about 10 years ago. Somebody put in their terms and conditions, if you read it, it was like a $5,000 prize you could actually enter for. only one person in the world did it because they actually read the terms and conditions. So I say that to say you're probably being spied on anyway.
Yeah.
And you've agreed to it. But to that point about, DEI being in space, why is it that we're now seeing the issues? When we go back to TikTok, I believe, in my opinion, is people were starting to make careers, big money, big bags. America didn't have any access to tax that and get the money, right? And people are like, well, America don't need money. I think we're forgetting we're playing a millionaires and billionaires game. Their interest is not to get more money per se. It's about power and control. Why is it that the top 5% of the world could literally end a lot of the issues that we have? There was a gentleman who was in a state house not too long ago, not here, I believe it was in California, that argued the point that for the 405 multimillionaires / billionaires who identify as white individuals, they made more money than 400,000 black people. So it's 400 people make more than almost 500,000 individuals, right? So when we think about this, for example, like I said, to finish up my TikTok thought, is you see people now creating lifestyles for themselves. People are becoming millionaires in ways that they've never been able to become millionaires before. Creating content. You're seeing things that are happening in Gaza and Palestine that our news media wouldn't cover. You're seeing stuff happen in other countries because people have access to now, and we have this global communication and connection where we're learning about things that we will never get access to. How do we control what you consume? How do we control how you can actually have a thought process? How do we silence you? Mm-hmm. This is all about silencing, because again, if too many people get together, you can actually make a revolution. You can actually make change. But if I scare you enough, if I take the things that are distractions, now the control falls back on us, right? So when we think about what's happening in these spaces, it's funny it's all happening now. I honestly believe this is the silence of some people who got some communications that they don't want to get out. I still am waiting to hear everybody who ended up dying on that plane crash in DC. Because I believe personally, this is me, there was some information on there that they didn't need getting past that information that was on that plane.
Absolutely.
Because
I don't know about nobody else, but there have been several people, I'm a big Scandal watcher. Like, I loved Scandal when it came on. And it was so many people like, we are living in an episode of Scandal. We are currently living in an episode of Scandal because there was something similar that happened on Scandal. They took down a plane because I can't remember the reason, but I think it was because they were trying to either kill Olivia's mom, or it was somebody on that plane that had information, like you just said, that they didn't want to get out, that they didn't want the information to reach outside sources. And so many people have looked at what's been going on, just like, is this the life we're living? Somebody even said, Shonda, if you writing this story, girl, let us know how it ends, because it's just been so much happening. And we've been having those conversations this month simply because we know people need a space to be able to be like, ooh, this a lot. Ooh, it's so much going on. So even last week, like, we were talking about creating spaces for yourself and the people that you're around, your family, your friends, and your community, so that you can have those conversations, that you can ask the questions that need to be asked, and whatever you don't know, it's okay to ask here in this space, because that's what it's here for. So we had Doc on here last week, and we were just talking about those different opportunities to create space where there doesn't seem to be any. You know what I'm saying? And so thank you for your work. Thank you for all of the, the information and all of that kind of stuff. Doc, thank you for being the person to go down the rabbit holes for us. You know what I'm saying? Because we need those kind of people.
And mentioning TikTok, I had seen it probably, I think, towards the end of last month. Who is it? Kabi Lame. Everybody knows who that is. If you don't, that's the TikToker that does the.
Okay.
He reportedly makes $750,000 per TikTok post, and last year he claimed $20 million from TikTok.
Sheesh.
And it is.
I'm sorry.
The TikTok thing is pretty much it's not a spy thing. It's not a spy thing. They got your information anyway.
Exactly.
It's not a spy thing. The thing is that they giving these people way too much money. And they about to get to a status that we don't want them at. Just this is the put it in this instance that, and I keep referring back to Black Wall Street. They burned it down because we had too much. So they took this TikTok thing and we gonna shut it down. You gonna sell it to one of us because we can't benefit anything from what you're paying them. We don't get no taxes, no nothing off of what you paying them. They straight got cash money. We can't control none of that. Okay, well, this is what we gonna do. Either you gonna sell it to us or we gonna shut it down. You make the decision. Now, here this man said, I'm not selling you nothing. You ain't getting it. But magically, soon as it's time for you to come back in office, it comes back on. Because now everybody has deleted the app and all of this, and a bunch of people can't get back into it because we're going to stop y'all one way or another. Because if our hands not on it, ain't nobody hands going to be on it.
And it goes back to the
nobody going to make no money off of this.
And it's all about power, right?
Yep.
When we think about what is taking place when it comes to this power struggle, this billionaires game, we don't have the money to play in the same regard, right? There's a certain group of people who control our media, our news, even trying to rewrite history, making these things illegal. When we think about it, I think a lot of people, even going back to the scandal situation, right, and thinking about that mindset, I don't want people to water this down and be like, oh, no, it's these things. You have to recognize y'all got to give the government a little bit more credit that they're not these fantasy people that just come out of nowhere and do these things are not happening coincidentally.
Oh, absolutely not.
If we think about how many times a serious situation takes place, even 9/11, when we think about different things that have happened with COVID, it's funny these things just like fade out and they don't have any more relevance in the same capacity, except to now say, let's go back and look at this throwback Thursday of when the world was on fire and we do all these different things. We have to recognize they have a calculated game. These individuals, even for the state that we're in, Indianapolis has a 200-year strategic plan that they put out in 2017. They are making plans for people that they won't even meet and they won't live to see. These are people who are strategic about the way that they move. They're not waking up the day before and saying like, oh, we should do something with the city. They have these things mapped out. They have these different ideologies related to these things. So we have to stop living in this space where we thinking like, oh no, they're not trying to harm us. When the writing is on the wall,
it's right there. It's blatant. It's in our face.
Very blatant. How is it that you can go from downtown Indianapolis up Meridian, and as you get out of downtown, the arts, all these spaces, then you cross an area where there's literally neighborhoods that are deserts, right? They don't have access to resources. Then once you keep going further up, you get to Meridian Hills, you got multi-million-dollar estates. But if I go on the east side, here I am, I live on the east side, right? Not the best decision I should have made, but the price on that house was amazing. The house was cool, so that's why I bought it. And then I learned within the first 2 weeks of me having a house, they stole my air conditioner out of my backyard, brand new. I have had a break-in my house every single month for over a year and a half. I have people who literally are smoking drugs in my backyard to the point where I done pulled up and been like, hey, excuse me, somebody live here. They looked at me, looked back down, lit their pipe and said, anyway, right? We're seeing these things in certain communities. We're seeing, why is it that in these neighborhoods, especially let's take 10th Rural where I'm at, where's the nearest grocery store that is accessible? Where's the nearest hospital that's accessible? Why are all the schools over in that area struggling with curriculum and keeping staff as far as teachers? Why is it that everybody in these areas are now having these struggles? That's not accidental, because if I take myself up to Carmel and Fishers, they wouldn't have none of that.
Nothing. And also when you go that far up, you don't see the lack of access to things. You know what I'm saying? Like, they may not have the transportation, but everything else is there. You can ride through Carmel and see blatant the names of the schools. You can see all of the activities, the access to the theaters and arts and all of those kind of things in those areas. But just kind of touching base on you talking about going up and down Meridian, that reminds me of DC. You can be in DC and it's beautiful. You riding past all of these estates and $1 million homes. You hit the corner and go over a bridge, and it's like,
what the hell happened?
Like, what happened?
But then here's the question, though. The White House sits in the middle of what?
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say, because there,
the neighborhoods around the White House.
You go past all of that, and right around the corner is the White House.
Right.
The White House is literally around the corner from an overpass that is filled with nothing but tents.
Yep.
Like, galore. I mean, so many tents that it is. I drove through there, and the way that my heart hit my stomach was unreal. Simply because as you're driving, you see these things taking you. You know, you're taking in the scenery, and next thing you know, you're like, oh my God. And then next thing you know, there's big ass White House and everything. And it's like, is this my reality? Did I really experience this big jump in what I'm seeing?
That's why they built that fence around it. Because literally the actual gate where people used to just look and take pictures of it, it was like drug addicts and homeless people just sitting right there, right in front of the door. And it looked bad when the news came to look at the president. So they had to build a gate to push them back even further. I've been around here for like 30 years now. So
yeah, Washington is kind of depressing. It is. It sits between like two hoods. You'd be like, what?
But most of our cities are.
Yeah. Leo, you found out you came to Baltimore. You was okay, and then you hit the corner. You wasn't okay no more.
No lie. I was in Baltimore, and I was like, I made a wrong turn. Because what happened? Wait.
And you was right there at the police station. You was at the police headquarters, but you still didn't feel safe.
And I didn't even know that's where I was, okay? Because I was just downtown or whatever that area was that we were in. And then next thing you know, I didn't shift it from... And it was like, what? So the fact that it's blatant, like you said, it's so blatant that, yeah, we got all of this right here, but we still want to make sure y'all know.
I even want to push the point further, right? There is a point where those who are unhoused, there are laws being passed where that is now being criminalized. So because I don't have access to things, people say, well, they can just go get a job. It costs to get an ID.
Yep.
It costs to be clean, to actually show up to your job. And I promise these people, for the most part, didn't wake up and say, you know what? I want to struggle in life today. Let me do nothing, right? A lot of these individuals may have had addictions, health challenges that led them to these spaces. Right? So the blanket statement of they just don't want to do something, that's not the narrative for all of those individuals. There was a city that had invested over $1 million to put spikes under overpasses so that unhoused individuals would not be able to sleep there, right? So instead of building a shelter, instead of providing, at least temporary housing and doing these things, what they do is show up and say, no, we just want to get rid of you. They even got to the point where park benches, it's one right there on Mass Ave. It's a park bench with a sculpture of a unhoused person on the bench, right? Like, and I'm looking like, this doesn't memorialize anything. It didn't make sense to me, and maybe it ain't no history. It don't make sense, right? You're gonna spend the money to create this art piece that only shows you how you're fetishizing this thing, and also bringing light to the issue that y'all are not here to rectify.
Y'all not here to fix.
You're not gonna fix these things. Then I even think about this. Let's go to our community, right? If you go to a criminal official, you'll see a bridal shop. You'll see the conversations of the arts. It's pushing family, it's pushing community. I have yet to see, especially being from Detroit, a bridal shop in the communities I'm from. That's not accidental, because they don't believe in those same communities having access to families like that. We know for a fact, whether if you want to get married or not, let's think about the core reason of why marriage was even created. It was a business proposition. It was, we got to bring these two people together, you know, and at one point there was somebody would receive, you know, usually the bride's family would pay to have their child, you know, go off and do these different types of things. But then we see the government getting involved with tax breaks. If it wasn't tax breaks, then you have the opportunity now to create families. The reason why we even see when it comes down to women's rights and abortions, that is not because Black people just decided to say, you know, we're going to be reckless in those. We had in the early 90s hip hop campaigns that was trying to actually curb teen pregnancies because they were seeing the welfare and the outcome from it. But the data shows we're not the ones who are using high numbers of welfare.
Oh, thank you for saying it. I sure appreciate you.
You know, you're welcome. I'll say it one more time. We're not the
Say it
ones.
out loud again.
One more time. We ain't the ones with the high numbers of people using welfare. My thing about it is, get it how you live, but do not create a stereotype that continues to put us in a space where you even deny us of it. Then second thing is, when we think about those abortions in the last decade and a half have not been from us. It has been from white women who use it. But because now their numbers are decreasing scientifically in the data that they continue to provide, it's too many interracial couples happen. And now the dominance is shrinking on their end. And because it is shrinking, and you could do the research yourself, don't think I was at home making this up. Now, because of that, how do we stop you from being able to do this? That ain't got nothing to do with us. This is to stop them because they need to repopulate.
It ain't got nothing to do with us, and it got everything to do with them that sit in there that made this, that wants to change this law of how many outside kids they got. See, they don't want to have that conversation. They don't want to have that conversation about how many outside kids they have. Because you think you could just make a baby and you ain't got to take care of them. Now she got to go get on welfare and get WIC. And now she got housing and she got Section 8 and all of that. But you want to cut it all out, but because it's us. It's not us. It's them.
And that's what I was going to ask.
This is how they really trying to blame it on us. And it's the whole thing about let's throw it in their face and blame it on them. We know good and well it ain't us. We know it's not us.
I was going to add to that because I used to actually work for the welfare department here in Indiana. And the numbers are stifling to see when you look at who's applying for it, who's getting approved, who's the main ones receiving the assistance. And I just know from Indiana because we did all of Indiana, not just a certain area. So we were processing birth certificates, all of those kind of things when I did that kind of work. And I always laugh when people always talk about the fact that it's Black people on welfare. And I'm like, who gave y'all them numbers? Who told y'all this?
Who told y'all that?
Who gave y'all these statistics to say that it was us that was receiving this government assistance, that it was us that was receiving all of this help? Because from what I've looked at, from the documents and the information that's coming in, the IDs, I mean, because we ran all of it. Like what I did was process. So I saw every ID, every birth certificate, all the babies that were being born. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw all of that, and every time I hear somebody say something about Black people on welfare, I'd be like, huh?
Look, y'all, I got a question.
You sure?
Doc, I got a question for you, Doc. Listen, Doc. So is DEI the reason why
Pablo, you in these hands?
They now in court about the federal employees not being paid till September?
You mean the buyout?
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't have anything to do with DEI.
No, I'm just asking because you know your boy is blaming it on everything. And
no, I know.
He said the judge can give who give y'all the authority to tell me what I can and cannot do, and you ain't paid these people, and all 60,000 people that quit ain't got to pay.
The thing with that buyout, with my representative that I will keep anonymous right now because I want to protect that particular person's job. No, it has nothing to do with DEI. I think that's just part of the Elon Musk, the President Elon Musk agenda to eliminate the
facts.
To eliminate government spending, unnecessarily government spending. And that whole thing, and which is why the judge, I can't remember which judge it was who paused the who put a halt on it. And then I think they extended it even more yesterday.
They did.
It has nothing to do with DEI. That is just to eliminate the unnecessary spending of that department and any department rather by them taking the offer of a buyout, which the judge who extended it again this week said that it was not unconstitutional, but it was more so he can't do it basically, and it's it has nothing to do with DEI. That's just eliminating a government position with a buyout, which has already been funded by the U.S. House of Representatives. So he can say we want to do a buyout, but he does not have the authority as commander in chief to put that buyout into place. More so, the other president of the country, President Elon Musk, co-president, does also not have the authority to do that because he is not a government paid employee.
Nope.
Wait. How you get to call Elon Musk president, but you ain't calling him?
That's the question I had.
Yeah, like that got kind of confusing a little bit.
He said co-president.
He said co-president.
Well, I did say co-president because I know, one, he's not a U.S. citizen.
Nope.
2, we did not elect him. 3, he was not on anybody's ballot, and he's irrelevant. And 2, that's a dig on 47.
And
so that's why I do.
How did he get clearance to get in there?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't know. Yeah.
But wait a minute, I didn't even know he was a U.S. citizen.
He's not. You didn't know that?
He's not a U.S. citizen.
I really didn't.
He is not. Why are you talking about the immigrants?
Is ICE at his door too?
What'd you say?
Is ICE at his door too?
At his door?
At his door? Absolutely not.
No, because, and I hate to say this for our listeners, but to be honest, he's not Hispanic. Because that's ICE's agenda to focus on Hispanic immigrants or undocumented citizens, I'm going to say citizens, undocumented workers in this country, to send them back to either Mexico, Honduras, Central America countries, South American countries. But then if you look at who all is undocumented from the Caribbean, Asia, Europe, I can keep going, Canada. I mean, they're not focused on those countries. So the fact, hey, that's my son.
Salvadorians alone.
They focus on them Haitians.
Yeah. So, you are right. You are right, Moses.
Yeah, they focus on.
But my thing is, he's focused on a certain group instead of covering the entire deportation in that mask, because it was mentioned, I think I don't know what I was watching, but last week is how he's not. I mean, if you look at New York and the who constitutes New York immigrants and how they come in and things like that, he's only looking at the countries outside of Haiti, of those who are bringing in supposedly fentanyl and the bad drugs and the illegals and the people killing people. So that's who he's focused on right now, which the directive of the mass deportation should be looking at all undocumented immigrants. But he's picking and choosing who he wants to keep the narrative of what he ran for his 2024 campaign.
So much.
Keeping his people happy. That's all he's doing.
It's keeping his people happy.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the most people who he's keeping happy, or he's trying to keep happy, some of them voted for him, and the majority of them he's deporting.
Yep.
Yeah, you get the vote. I get the money.
Mm-hmm.
You leave. Thank you.
That's all we needed.
My granddaddy used to tell me, you don't pay a prostitute to have sex with you. You pay her to leave, brother.
Pretty much. That's what sums it up.
Yeah.
Woo!
I just really want to know when
he's speaking facts.
When
Your granddaddy.
That's all
Your
I
granddad
want.
speaking facts.
You don't pay her to have sex with you pay her to leave. But when
Ain't
is these
lying.
eggs gonna go down though? What day and hour is the cost of these eggs gonna go down?
See, the problem is with the problem with the eggs is it's not necessarily the tariffs and what he's doing. It's a combination of tariffs and then the bird flu not contributing to trying to get these prices down. So
No,
the fact
Doc. He said he was bringing these prices of eggs down.
I know what he said.
I
They
care
won.
less about the eggs. Okay,
They won.
I went to
worried
the
about
liquor store
avocados
today. The price of tequila went through the roof. I don't know what's going on. Okay,
Man.
but that's the tariff he put on.
That's the
That's
tariff.
the tariff.
That is the tariff. So,
my bottle used to be $30, bro.
and how much is it now?
It is $65 now.
Yeah,
I don't
it's up
appreciate
there.
none of that. Okay,
Tequila.
Well, that should just tell you to stop drinking.
So you know what that
that's
means.
gotta come back.
I have a show called Tequila.
You know what that means. You need to switch.
tequila.
You need to switch to bourbon. Oh, sorry, my bad. We ain't sponsored. You need to switch to something that's made within the United States. But the reason why they did that is he did put a 25% tariff. Now you say $30, 25%. That's almost 50.
Yeah,
That does not equate.
The store gotta get theirs. The store still gotta get theirs.
Store has to get it. Thank you. The store has to get theirs. Whether Mexico sells the product at whatever it continue to pay, they can the people who are purchasing it as it hits the ports, because how a tariff works is as soon as that product hits U.S. territory, the person picking it up has to pay U.S. Customs the cost of that product plus tariffs. So what they're doing is they paid the cost of that product plus the 25% tariff. And Aiden, you want to go ahead and do some quick math on me? Okay, that's about $7, 25% on $30, right? So that's $40. Let's say $40 for the sake of math. That does not stop the company who is purchasing that tequila as it comes off the boat to increasing their price regardless. Because what they have is power of that. Which way you at? You this way. All right, this way. So that what that does is saying they know that Pablo or Peter Jesterson.
You trying to hit the people on my door.
Jesterson, that's right. Peter Jesterson is going to look at this tequila, but they know you just purchased it. And so what they're going to do is up the cost along with the tariff on top of it. That's why it's $60.
Jesus. I'm about to switch to Blanco. That Neho ain't
go.
right for me. That Neho ain't
You
right.
go.
Jeez.
There you go.
As we can see, we got a
We
lot
all
of work
affected.
to do.
We all
We got
affected.
a lot of work to do. We got a lot of conversations to be had. And that's why we here. Whatever kind of conversation you guys think that we should be having or you guys would like to participate in, send them to me in regards to what's taking place in the world right now, the current state of the world. Let me make that clear before Rodney decides to send me something. That has nothing to do with DEI or the current state of the world, okay?
Rodney already typed kids up.
So,
right now.
He said, I definitely paid her.
Because it was going to be something more. And I'm like, no. But also, with everything that we're discussing, we're having conversations about, we're having people that have expertise in these areas come on and talk about. We're still going to have our fun. But right now, my focus for PGC is to use this platform with a level of responsibility. They are trying to do everything that they possibly can to eliminate the information that's going out, to minimize how we have access to the things of politics, understanding our history, all of those things. And what you cannot do is erase the history of people that built this country, no matter how hard you try. Because you're going to try to erase everything. You're going to try to erase us, all of that kind of stuff. But you cannot erase what you did not create. You did not create us. You did not, like, none of that. You cannot erase what you did not create. And regardless of all of the false information going out, we are going to try our best here on PGC Media, the Phat Girl Chronicles, PGC After Dark, to continue to give information. Yes, even on After Dark, we are going to give information that is necessary for us to have. Because whether we are talking about politics, whether we're talking about fashion, or whether we are talking about the spaces that we enter when it comes to sexuality, intimacy, and relationships, and those kind of things as well. We have so many people that are doing the work for us to be able to understand ourselves when it comes to our sexuality, when it comes to our bodies, when it comes to our relationships, when it comes to our healing. We have so many people that are out here doing the work. My sister is our favorite trap therapist, and we absolutely love her coming on the show.
I don't.
Moses and Pablo don't like when she come on here because
she be trying to read me the
business.
filth.
She be offering them a seat on the couch. But
no problem.
I got a problem.
Answer none of her questions. That's it.
We definitely want our conversations to be something that assists everybody in every shape, form, or fashion. They want to continue to block us from being financially aware and financially literate. We want to have those conversations here too, because we got to figure out how to make all of those things that they are trying to hide from us, keep from us, or trying to shake up. We got to find ways to get that information out there. And I'm going to try my damnedest, okay? With the help of the team and the connections and the people that I continuously come across and encounter. If not this month, next month, me doing Lyft has allowed me the opportunity to come across some Black lobbyists here in Indy. And so I'm having a conversation with them soon to have them come on here to talk about what they do and those kind of things and what ways we can get involved in the community and all the things. So it don't stop here. Okay, y'all, we got work to do. And the work that we're going to do here is to continue to make sure that our history is known and that the information is received. Okay, I already talked about our responsibility as Black podcasters, as Black media groups. We have that responsibility to put out the necessary information. We can have a good time. We can have a great time. We can have fun. We can talk about all of the things. But I also want to make sure that we get to the nitty gritty of the things as well. Okay? Mm-hmm. Y'all got any more questions for the DEI homegirl? Because I know my homegirl a little sad.
Yeah, I got one last question. I don't know if it's going to lead us into the last bit of the conversation. How much of DEI was DEI-ing on Sunday at the Super Bowl?
This guy. He couldn't.
How about at the halftime point or the whole thing?
Not the whole thing. We're gonna go from the rooter to the tutor. The whole thing, start to the finish.
Well, I'm not a sports person per se, so I'm probably the worst person to ever watch sports.
You are from Detroit, so we understand.
Listen, we was almost there. Don't play, because I called it and we'll get crunked in here. Don't do that.
Period.
All right, so let me ask this question. So have you heard the controversy behind? Because I got some notes on the side of here I'm looking at and in my receipts. Have you heard the controversy behind Lift Every Voice and Sing being sung at the Super Bowl with, tying into Kendrick Lamar and then the national anthem and then all these non-melanin folks getting mad about how it was just too colorful at the Super Bowl?
Oh, too colorful. Wow. Okay.
Too colorful.
Yeah, let's go back to where they removed, the statement off of the field about not being racist, right? Because they didn't want to offend anybody. So racism.
Whoa. They didn't want to offend anybody, or they didn't want to offend one person?
Oh, they didn't want to offend one person.
All right, there we go.
Oh, there you go, right? So the fact that we can remove language like that, racism isn't some random concept that we came up with. It's socially constructed. We know that, but it also has real consequences. It has limited people to have access, to be mistreated, to be killed, to be harmed, just because of the ideologies people have associated with it. Because you're this, this should lead me to treat you in certain ways, right? So the fact that we even remove that from the field, when you have racist individuals who are coming in this space, right? If racism wasn't real, we wouldn't see the things that we're seeing. So the fact
So
that
what was removed from the field? I'm sorry, I'm not a big sports person myself, so I don't really watch sports. Didn't see it. I had to go back and watch the things after the fact. So what was removed from the field?
Doc, you want to share?
Yeah, so in the end zone, on
That's where
during
they
the
catch
Super Bowl,
touchdowns at, Leo.
they have
I know what
each
the end zone is.
they have each
I know some
team's
terminology. I just don't watch it.
they have each team's logo, and on the outside of the logo, they had a phrase called "in racism," which, mind you, the last time these two saw each other in a Super Bowl match, it also had "in racism" that they allowed to stay
Yep.
in the end zone. Point of reference. So that was what they said. Well, we had "in racism." It was already put in there, but somebody of an orange complexion, of a blonde demeanor, said, "I'm going to attend the Super Bowl this year." And all of a sudden, the NFL scrambled to remove "in racism" to choose love. There you go.
Mark, I do know what the end zone is. He's talking about some no, she don't. My brothers play football. I just don't watch it. I know some terminology. Relax.
Well, thank you so much for that, Doc. Right. So when we think about that language, why is it being removed? My question is, so now we're choosing love. It's funny, love is only chosen for certain individuals, right? Because as we look at executive orders from a federal and even a state level, we are literally rolling back programs that would have allowed people, right, to choose love. But again, we're in 2025 still experiencing racism. When we go back to the examples of ICE, if we're talking about undocumented individuals, why is it that certain communities are being hit hard and others are not? And when we're talking about rolling back DEI, why is it all of a sudden the people who are making policies literally not the ones who even impacted by it? So really quickly, I'm gonna pivot. It was a recent bill here in Indiana that was passed by the Senate, and I was going to the House. One of the senators asked the person presenting the bill, "Did you contact anybody related to this information to figure out like groups that advocate for marginalized voices, or did you talk to any of the marginalized groups?" To both questions, he said no, and then he followed up with, "I didn't think we had to." But he says that DEI is a manipulation that will allow discrimination as long as it's the right discrimination. When the hell has discrimination ever been right?
What?
For the context that we're talking about, it has never been okay.
What?
Right? So when they asked them, "Did you even do the research? Where did you get this language?" When we asked that question before it even got to the Senate, they had the same responses. "We don't really know about it. We didn't do the research. We didn't contact the universities. We didn't talk to the students. We didn't talk to the staff. We didn't talk to the people who are marginalized. That's harmed. This bill will impact. But we just got a feeling it's just discrimination, and we only allow it's manipulation, right?" So to go back to say to end racism, to choose love, y'all never chose love. Y'all never showed love. Y'all never cared to. Because if y'all want to use this, biblical ideology of what y'all think love is, y'all ain't even doing the definition right. Right? Y'all didn't get the context right.
So it's interesting you said biblical. And I just saw Mark B put in there that he wanted to focus on tragedies that took place in New Orleans and the plane crash. And I know that, and Ubiquitous Black, this is not the first time that Lift Every Voice and Sing has been sung at Super Bowl. But the fact that it being biblical was mentioned, does anybody know which one of these songs is a Christian hymn? I'm going to listen for you. I'll give you a choice. A, B, C. Lift Every Voice and Sing, The Star Spangled Banner, or what was my third one? that I have in my notes. My Country 'Tis of Thee. Which one of those were the most Christianiest song out of those three?
Well,
Go
I'm
back to
from
that word.
Baltimore, so I know it's not
Right.
B.
Okay.
Did you say that
I'm
word?
saying Star Spangled Banner.
There.
Yeah,
So
I'm from Baltimore. It's definitely not B. I know that for a fact.
correct. And the reason why I bring this up and tying it back to DEI and how everybody would just so, oh my God, all those colored folks on the field and dancing and gyrating and saying all this stuff, and they had the colored guy on the piano doing the Star Spangled Banner and everybody singing Lift Every Voice. Oh my God, the Black National Anthem. Is it time for a history lesson, Leo? Can I do that right now? I ain't gonna take long.
Sure. Go ahead.
I ain't gonna take long. So, Lift Every Voice and Sing, for those of you who don't know, written by James Weldon Johnson. Originally, it was not considered the Negro or Black national anthem. It was a Christian hymn that was written in the 1900s, actually the year 1900s. And it was first publicly celebrated for the birth of President Lincoln. Last time I looked at Lincoln, he ain't black.
Nope.
And it was sung in
There's
Jacksonville,
some
Florida.
rumors, though. There are some rumors.
he on the spectrum. He on the fence. All right. So it was sung by 500 black students, and then only in 1919 the NAACP and listen to how I phrase this, because I actually, when I wrote this down, I was like, it was funny how they said it. The NAACP adopted it as its official Black national anthem. And by the way, it was a poem. So going back to what we was talking about in the 1950s and 60s, because we was talking about the 1968 Olympics, it was a song to rally the cry of civil rights movement. And the fun fact is, if you go back and listen to the lyrics, because I looked at the whole song, I don't know the whole song. I can't really say the whole song.
You went to HBCU, brother. How you don't know the whole song?
Hey, a lot of that was perpetrating. Every time we got to the sing, that's the only part we knew.
That's the
only part we knew. I ain't gonna lie.
No, I ain't gonna lie. I had to learn. That is the most part that most black people know. But I actually know the entire song because I went to Marva College. So there we
go. So Anisha,
I had to learn it.
I know you know that there is no mention of black,
nope,
Negro,
nope,
African,
nope,
African American,
nope,
or slave in that entire song.
Nothing.
So when I was researching this today, a lot of people said if you look at every song, comparing that to the Star Spangled Banner, who was written by a slave owner, Francis Scott Key.
Yeah, the second.
And you look at the third stanza, which mentions slaves.
Yep.
And it was actually that line that mentions what is it called? Hirelings and slaves. It actually talks to the fact that the slaves who were helping not within the United States, but what we know now as the United States, those black slaves to come to fight for Britain, and they would get freedom and certain other things. And so if you look at that song compared to Lift Every Voice and Sing, Lift Every Voice and Sing should actually be the U.S. national anthem and how it was written. So, just some fun facts, in case y'all want to peruse it, learn it, no more than just the lift, sing a song that, what we learned at FAMU during convocation before MLK convocation. And that's the only part that we knew about. So, educate yourself. The only way you know about history is to know where you come from, to know where you're going.
Amen. So, first of all, definitely learn the song, y'all, because we need to know more than a singer.
Yes.
So we need to know
Learn
more
the
than that
song.
part, okay?
Hey,
Everybody know that part.
I know the first couple words.
Even the white people know that
I just hummed
part.
the whole
Even
I
though
know-
they
I
don't
just
want to
hummed the-
know it. They know that
I know
part.
I know the first couple words. Lift every voice.
That's what I was gonna say. We used to have to learn it because I was in choir in middle school and high school, so we had to know it for Black History Month and all of that other kind of stuff. But thank you for a history lesson on the song. Ubiquitous Black said he's ashamed of us.
My bad. Hey,
I went to a PWI. I'm sorry. Went to a PWI.
Okay.
They don't think that over there. They don't think that at all over there.
Y'all didn't just hum along like.
Okay, so
No, okay.
we gonna let our DEI homegirl tell the people how they can keep in touch with her, where they can follow you, subscribe to the things you got going on, all of the good stuff. Tell the peoples, and then we gonna let Doc get into this whole spiel about the Super Bowl for the last 20 minutes. We gonna let the DEI homegirl get her some rest and relaxation for the evening because she got a long day ahead of us tomorrow. Giving the world all of this good DEI information. We are definitely going to have her back because she does do work with DEI in other sectionalities. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. But also a lot of her work focuses on fat bodies and things like that. So we are definitely going to talk about what that work looks like, what having those conversations look like. We've even started having some conversations about doing more about, putting that information out there simply because we know it's needed. So tell the people how they can follow you, how they can keep up with you, and how they can connect with you, homegirl.
Listen, before I do so, because I got to go to bed and be right back up here in like 20 minutes in my mind. So the one thing I want to say about the Super Bowl halftime, if you saw that as lacking entertainment, you missed the message. And there was a message there. We are still in a society where we can't be very blatant about the things that we say because they still have control to provide repercussions, right? And in those repercussions, that could literally be silencing us further, cutting out more resources, right? So if you really take a look at the symbolism, we have always had to be creative in telling our message. I mean, there's even historical data showing that, ancestors used to braid maps within our own hair for us to navigate. So this level of creativity that you're looking for that only shows up in the viral moments that doesn't have a deeper meaning, you have to move past that. Will we all agree on everything? Possibly not. But to say, oh, that was mid, it didn't teach me nothing, it's because we're so detached from our history, we don't see how we're missing the messages that are being carried out, right? And just like you said, Leo, on this platform, you have a responsibility to continue to do that. That's what Kendrick did. He took the opportunity to uplift some information that the rest of the world keeps seeing us as jokes. They keep seeing us right now. We hear it all the time. We're still slaves in chains. They just painted them gold. So now they made them look like it was okay. They've just put other things in our way. So take the time to understand the history and the value in it. But nevertheless, I am your DEI homegirl. I write for the Indianapolis Recorder. If you want to read those articles, I'm always trying to put some information out there to have that conversation, to engage. You can follow me on Instagram at Fatness Fiction. That's FATNESSFICTION. So it's spelled just like you hear it. And I want to remind y'all, we do have work to do. This can be disheartening. This can be, exhausting, but we still have to have a good time. Like I said, we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. So continue to elevate each other, continue to do the work, and know that you don't have to necessarily do the work the same way everybody else. If you're a podcaster, podcast. If you're a lobbyist, do that. If you're an entertainer, painter, if you're an educator, you can still have these conversations. They have always restricted things for us. At one point in time, it was not even legal for us to read. So don't ever think none of this is new. They're just finding new creative ways. At one point in time, it would have been illegal for me to even be talking to you as a Black woman.
Yep.
Right? It will be illegal for me to hold the spaces that I do. And the same goes for other people out here. So one thing that you need to do is remember you have more opportunity in your community if you actually have a conversation to unify and make the change. It's not going to always be easy. It's not going to always be there. But no, they're overturning this because there was power in the work that we were doing. And at this point, they don't have to live with that. So from your DEI homegirl, I ask that you keep the work going, continue to do the work. And while you're doing the work, stay sexy, because don't nobody want to do all this work and be ugly too. Like that ain't gonna work. I tell people every day at work, stay sexy, friends, because at the end of the day, they're gonna have to put you in that dirt or burn you up, depending on how you want to get up out of here. But make sure that you have a good time doing it. So I thank y'all to everybody on this call, all the listeners. I appreciate y'all creating space and being intentional. And on that note, I'm gonna go home and take me a good old nap.
Thank you, girlfriend. We're going to have you back sooner than later. We appreciate you so much. Make sure y'all go check her out. Follow all of her work. Fatness Fiction, PGC. We coming together soon. We going to do some work. Okay? So y'all look out for all of that great stuff. Make sure y'all check her out, Indianapolis Recorder. And then continue to follow her on social media at Fatness Fiction. She has a lot of great things that she does. She is truly an inspiration to you, girl, over here. So I'm sure she will be an inspiration to you all over there as well. Make sure you follow her, check her out. And then also tap in with her if you need to ask some questions or got some curiosities going on. Don't be a creep, but reach out and ask the real questions in regards to
her backyard
and her work.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, don't be looking through a window. None of that.
Stay out of our backyard and give her AC back.
Listen, I'm about to get up out of that neighborhood very soon. I've been blessed in a lot of ways. Also, the last thing I want to say, I was a high school graduate with a 1.82 GPA, right? And it wasn't because I was in class cutting up. It was simply because of the lack of access to resources. I went from that to going to undergrad, getting 14 academic scholarships, coming from a community college, and now I'm blessed to be in a space where I am building a home. I would have never thought I could have been able to do that, right? I still ain't got no money. I just want to be transparent. So don't think you got to have money, because I fought my realtor. She was like, you should build a house. I said, you should hush. Like, I don't have no money. So I share that with you all to say, if you stay true to your work, if you stay true to your ancestors, you stay true to the path that you're on, you can't get no door shut in your face, because there's more than one way to enter a house. If you don't go through the front door, you better find a window to climb through, but you'll get in there.
Exactly.
That's Detroit right there. You saw that?
Yep. See, she closed it out. She closed it out. She said, get through the window.
I am leaving here with something.
Leaving here with something, okay? All right, now, I don't know how to actually leave, so y'all throw me out or something.
I got you, boo.
All right, bye, y'all.
All right.
Y'all throw me out or something.
There we go.
Oh, thank y'all so much. That was such a great conversation. We thank her once again so much for joining us and having that conversation with us tonight. We ain't done. We're gonna have the conversation, because I know it's been boiling on your skin and all of that kind of stuff. Everybody been wanting to have the conversation. I've even been having the conversation when I didn't even watch the damn game. I had to go back. You know what I'm saying? I had to go back and watch the damn halftime show. But before we get into that,
she took my dad's mid, Leo.
Before we get into that,
you heard me?
I heard you.
That whole last part, that was my dad's mid. She just took the whole joint.
So was it mid? Was it really mid? Okay. But we one subscriber away. Thank you for Ubiquitous Blacks for always keeping the numbers. We need one more subscriber. So share with a friend, family, cousin. It's 11 of y'all watching. However you're watching, go to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. And I'm gonna even do you one. Okay. The name that pop up for our 800th subscriber.
Get a table dance. Oh.
Now, I'm gonna give you a real thing. We're gonna give you I have some vouchers for trips. I got trip voucher. So the person who hit that subscribe button, I'm gonna send you a trip. If you the 800th person, I'm gonna get a notification, so you can't lie about it. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that now. Don't start lying.
I'm about to unsubscribe. They ain't getting nothing.
Hey, it's not gonna be 800.
Man, I'm about to create another account.
They're not getting nothing. That's what I mean. I'm about to
it ain't gonna be the 800
every time.
If you unsubscribe.
$7.99 unsubscribing every time. Y'all ain't getting nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying, hit that subscribe, and you got something coming, okay? I'm gonna reach out to you, or you can reach out to me to let me know you were the 800 subscriber.
Dr. ATM,
And
I'm mad at you. You should have been subscribed. You should have been in the 600s.
Screenshot it, send it to you. You can reach me on Facebook and Instagram to let me know that you did it, okay? And speaking of Instagram, I ain't switched over here all night, but thank y'all for tuning in. We had a few viewers on Instagram. Y'all. Brick House Beauty Bay. I got dreads. Hey, honeybee. Chrissy Lee. BS3 Network. Hood Chick Motivation. We thank y'all for tuning in.
Why all Leo's Instagram people sound like they done did time somewhere? That's crazy.
Hey, I don't know. These are just their names. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
New black.
So thank y'all for all of that. And we need 1,000 to get monetized. So go ahead and continue to send it. We still need 200 more subscribers, so make sure y'all go ahead and send those out. But
yeah, I can't say nigga in the first 5 minutes after that. So let's get this going.
Okay. That's okay, because
tell a friend, tell a girlfriend.
Okay, soon as
I gotta wait till the 6 minute mark before I say nigga when we get monetized.
1,000, okay. So, Doc, and the rest of y'all who want to have this conversation, let's get into it.
Oh, we're gonna have it. We're gonna have it. We're gonna have. Hold on, let me put the microphone down. We're gonna have it because here's the thing. We was talking about.
Put the microphone upside down.
Above his head and make it come down.
What y'all talking about?
Where he get these glasses and these gloves from? Like he played in the actual game.
Wait, hold on. First of all, what y'all talking about? I'm just sitting over here trying to hold on. Let me get the regular mic.
Malik Yoba in Cool Runnings right now.
All right, let me get the regular mic.
Okay.
So the regular mic, I just want to point out some things that I picked up on since the Kendrick Lamar performance. I know a lot of people hated it. A lot of people said it was washed with a lot of DEI and washed with a lot of blackism. But did y'all notice that the whole performance area first was a PlayStation controller?
Was a PlayStation
from Sony.
Yeah.
But did you really notice? Did you really notice that when he started his performance, right before he started, each button started lighting up?
Yep.
Did you know what that meant? Come on, did you know what that really means? So what that meant was it was a cheat code from Grand Theft Auto for full health and armor. Go back and listen to it. Go back and look at it. Square X, circle, square, triangle X, circle, square, circle, square.
It's a cheat code. My daughter told me that. And
it's a cheat code for full health and armor.
Yep. I asked Doc. I'm like, and when she was like, Mom, that's the cheat code from Grand Theft Auto. I said,
now, why would he ask for that? Could it be that he was worried about Trump? Could it be that he was worried about Kansas City Chiefs winning or cheating? No,
he wasn't winning. He wasn't worried about that.
No. He was worried about getting that full health and armor because he know he was about to zip Drake. And so you look at the other points to the whole performance. Samuel L. Jackson played Uncle Sam. I ain't gonna say no more about that. Then you throw in a sprinkle of seasoning called Serena Williams. Crip walking on stage. But was it significant because she was crip walking? Or was it significant because she's Drake's ex? You tell me.
Or was it significant that it pretty much was saying we need to protect our black women too?
That too. That too. Because what happened, I think it was prior, I forgot what year it was, but one of her siblings did pass away due to a drive-by shooting.
Yep.
So,
and she got penalized for doing the crip walk when she won.
Look here, she didn't get penalized on Sunday.
She did.
I gave her all her flowers.
All of it.
Because one,
she's being penalized though. Everybody's talking like Stephen A. Smith had a lot to say about her.
Stephen A. Smith is irrelevant.
I always
He's
got a lot
irrelevant.
to say about something.
He is irrelevant because he talk about my Cowboys, so he's irrelevant from the get-go. But you know, the last question I have in this whole controversy before we turn it over to the panel, did somebody go check on Drake? did somebody check on Drake? Please, did somebody check on Drake? And you know what? While we do all that, here's what I really have to say about Drake.
Yeah, Drake is over.
Woo. Did you say A minor?
A minor.
And at the end of that thing in the crowd, did you read where it said game over?
Game over.
Game. You know what? He even did a performance, and I don't know how true this is or what the sequence of it was. He had a shirt on where he had smoke, and you know it was told that you know he was saying, "Hey man, I give up. All the shots are fired, whatever." I don't know how true that is, but the game is over. He can't do nothing.
There is nothing that Drake can do or say behind what happened on Sunday. At this point, bruh, just let it go.
Nothing.
Don't sit down and when he said, "Hey Drake," he was talking to you, bruh.
Smile right at him. And you know what?
And pretty much said, "Cause y'all like to sue."
Yep. And you know what? I got a message with Drake too.
Drake can't be upset. He kicked this whole thing off.
Yeah.
You kicked it off. And now you mad?
Hey, he can be mad, but here's my message to Drake. A minor.
No, that's enough.
You can do that, but you can't sing, lift every voice and sing.
Right.
Hey, that's 2 words. Hey, that's 2 words.
Right.
That's 2 words.
Wait a minute, real quick. We got 801. So y'all gotta tell me who the last 2 people that subscribed. I'm over here still working, so I don't know who the last 2 people were. But if it was you, send me the screenshot because that's what I told y'all to do.
I think we had some unsubscribers and then resubscribers, so
they can't
that's a little
unsubscribe
suspect.
and resubscribe. It was gonna take the numbers down. It was gonna take the numbers down. It was
but I think
back to the
I think about 3. I think about 3 people did that though. So we got a perpetrator in there.
If it was 3 people that unsubscribed, it was gonna take the numbers down.
Hey,
then back up 3.
Who is the Drake in the audience that did not subscribe, that unsubscribed and resubscribed? Who's the Drake in the audience? Who's the Kendrick Lamar?
So y'all done had this discussion about the halftime show, and everybody kept talking about the damn halftime show, but nobody talked about my girl Let Us See perform and lift every voice and sing, because that was my favorite part. I went back and watched.
Well, look, let me tell you the secret though. Not everybody saw it.
Yeah,
I mean that's
not
fine.
Everybody saw it because they didn't do it where everybody could see it. So some people literally had to go look it up to see it because
I didn't get to see none of it. I was working, so I didn't see the game.
Yeah, not everybody saw it.
Nothing.
That's why they're not talking about it.
I didn't see the halftime show either.
He living foul, Rodney. He living foul.
Huh?
Rodney said Doc living foul.
Wait a minute, he was sitting right next to me at the convocation. So
he said he know the words.
No, he don't.
He definitely said he knows. That was not part of the deal, Rodney.
Mm-hmm.
That was not part of the deal. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
hey, who's number 800? Who's number 800? Go on and get these goodies from Leo.
A lot of people
don't say it like that.
Oh, my bad. Go on and get these treats. Go on and get these treats from Leo.
A lot of people didn't like the halftime show because they said the audio was horrendous. Like,
complaining
about the audio.
No, a little bit it was. It was because he kept on going in and out. He was going in and out a little bit.
I talked to people who watched it on Tubi. They said it was a lag, but the audio was perfect. So take it as you will.
Tubi definitely did have a lag.
I was just gonna say that Tubi out here did they big one. Okay,
They did.
Tubi said, "Fuck what y'all heard about us. Let me show y'all what we're doing." Okay.
Hey, we need to have some conversation about Tubi. I actually watched a video the other day about how Tubi came about. Yeah, we need to have some conversation about Tubi, but that's for another show.
Yeah, send me that. Send me that information.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
A lot of black people. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's a lot of black people getting paid from Tubi too.
Yeah,
okay.
A lot of people. Tubi fed a lot of black folk. So.
Yeah, but I'll send it to y'all.
Is there a butt though? Is there a butt?
There's a butt. I was shocked. There's a butt.
We need to see this.
Rupert Murdoch. There we go. He's starting it. It's owned by Rupert Murdoch, but there's a whole story behind that. By
he
Tubi,
is absolutely wild. Okay, boo. Reach out to me on Instagram, Leo Rochelle _, or you can reach out to me the Phat Girl Chronicles on Instagram or Facebook. Whichever one works for you, you can send it to me.
Bump that. I need a percentage of that cut, Dr. ATM, because I told. Never mind. Anyway, go ahead. Do your thing.
Sir.
Rodney, go to sleep.
Rupert Murdoch. Okay, we'll talk about it.
See?
Mm-hmm. On to the next one. There it is. And the story behind that is how Fox got the Super Bowl. There's more to that. And honestly, it ties into, believe it or not, In Living Color in the Wayans Brothers. But that's a story for another day.
For some odd reason, I remember that being talked about when they talked about.
Because Marlon keep bringing it up.
Yep, that's a story for another day.
Marlon on his whole press run for what's that Scary Movie? That's all he talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you ain't told me about it, so but what was y'all overall take? Go and get your points off. Go and get it off your chest real quick about the Super Bowl.
Drake's career is over. I mean, not over. Well, yeah, it's over.
Yeah. The Super Bowl. I didn't watch the Super Bowl because I don't ever watch the Super Bowl. But from what I saw for the highlights and everything leading up to the Super Bowl, they put an emphasis so much on the referees cheating for them. The referees had to pull their hands back and can't do nothing because it was super obvious at the point. The halftime show, I wish he would have did a couple of hits, like a couple of more hits. But other than that, I like the show. I like the message. I like what he did. And I don't like the narrative that people are saying like the real black man won as opposed to like Patrick Mahomes not a real black man. It still was historic, 2 black men in the Super Bowl. So
right. 2 black quarterbacks. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so shout out to them.
I was about to say, what?
Yeah, there's like everybody kept saying because Jalen Hurts won, the real black man won. You know?
I'm sorry,
no, I was gonna say, wait, it's always been 2 black men in the Super Bowl, but y'all mean specific position.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing: they were in the same place 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But here's the thing, and don't get me wrong, Kansas is an amazing team, but Patrick's time is up. It was somebody else's time.
No, it's not. He's young.
No. What I'm saying is not with. I'm not saying literally with football, but the Super Bowl thing. His time was up.
It's so hard.
And they have made it so obvious. Like, hey, they've been cheating.
Yeah.
Hey, did you
like when the reporter asked you
Brady with the Patriots too? Hey, look. There was no way on Sunday that they were going to win.
Yeah, when the reporter asks which one of the refs is your favorite ref to help you cheat, bro, like, come on.
Yeah. You shut up.
Like, Patrick Mahomes' wife come out, you got to fire that reporter because they asked that question. Like, bro, like.
Hey, they still got like 90-something thousand for just showing up and losing.
They did.
Yeah, they still get paid to lose.
Well.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna hold
Well,
you. The game was. I don't know. As soon as I
I
saw
don't like
the
blowouts.
first half, I was like, oh, this game is over.
Yeah, I don't like blowouts in the Super Bowl anyway. Blowouts in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl is boring.
I thought it was gonna be a shut. I didn't want it to be a shutout.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be a shutout.
If you gonna do it, shut them out. That's what I say. Like, make history, shut them out. But I don't like blowouts in the Super Bowl. I'd rather it be close.
Yeah, like
So.
no. I didn't expect that at all. The halftime show was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I loved it.
So-
Every minute of it.
So
I enjoyed
in
it.
the Jay-Z era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does this one rank?
Mm.
With the Shakiras, the Weeknd, all them. Where does this one sits in the Jay-Z era? Because we can't count Prince and all them. Because that's not fair.
I don't even think this one was about the entertainment part. Though.
It wasn't.
It had
was about a
nothing,
message.
and that's
It was
the part
so much.
that I think.
Yeah.
It
I
was
think a
amazing.
lot of people, even though it's a Super Bowl halftime show, Kendrick ain't that dude. Like to get
I have a
out there
question.
and do all of the dancing and performing and making it a big thing like that. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't like that. No.
But wait. Okay. The halftime show, and I'm trying to remember, did I see it? Ain't the Super Bowl halftime show usually sponsored by Pepsi? Was this one sponsored by Pepsi?
No, it was sponsored by Apple.
Apple Music.
Apple.
Yep.
Apple Music did it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Somebody
This
else
wasn't
don't
done
like
by
Drake.
Pepsi. It was Apple.
Kind of ironic.
Apple Music.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
normally the
Drake was
halftime
rolled
show
down.
is usually sponsored by Pepsi. That's what I usually remember. But
Yeah,
But this was
it was by
not-
Apple Music because that's how I saw it when I looked for it on YouTube. It was Apple Music.
This was not about entertainment.
nah, this
Kendrick getting not invited in the future. I don't think he gives a damn.
He
I
did
feel
it
like
twice.
Kendrick don't really
This-
talk about what nobody thinks about the performance. He knew
He did it
what
twice.
he
Why
came
would,
to
why would
do.
he want to come back? I wouldn't even want to come back. I did it twice.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he wanted to, and it's the I think the message with the Super Bowl with him doing this show was part one, getting another dig at Drake, but part two, if you go back and look at some of the videos that's talking about each one of the sections that he did, talked about certain things and the symbolism of it, because somebody said that if you notice at the start and all the way until the very end, all of the people that were in red, all the people in white, and all the people in blue, they never really intermingled until Not Like Us. So go back and watch that. They all stayed separated. And his whole message was talking about separation, how we are divided as a country. But while I'm in here, I might as well throw some final jabs at Drake. He did leave out that one lyric or the one word in a lyric that I think he's not.
he wasn't allowed to say it.
He wasn't allowed to say it. Right. He wasn't allowed to say it. So
That's
he
it.
did like a sound instead of actually saying it. And then that was his dig. But I mean, I think the Kendrick and the Drake, that's done. I mean, Drake can't come back from this.
I mean,
But the message,
it's pretty much been done. But like Leo said, Kendrick ain't that dude. If you pay attention
that's
to
what I was
everything
saying.
he does, it has a
not about
message
the
about it. Everybody
entertainment,
wanted the glitz and the glamour and the fire optics and all of that.
yeah,
I
no.
never expected that from him.
Right.
I knew that what he was gonna do was gonna rock everybody's world, and he was gonna blow your mind and make you think about some stuff. And then when you hit him with that, oh, Chester Cheetah was showing up. Oh, he was like, oh, this is my perfect opportunity to say what I need.
He couldn't say PDF file.
He had the platform to say it out loud, like, oh, I'm gonna make you listen.
But he said that. He said it at the start. He said, this is the right platform, but y'all got the wrong nigga.
That's what he pretty much said. The right platform, but you got the wrong nigga.
But you gotta understand, he had 2 weekends. You gotta understand, he had 2 weekends, 2 big stages.
Yep.
And he had millions and millions of people calling one guy. No.
So this is the thing. So because nobody that I know of has said it was the greatest. Nobody has said it was very, like, it wasn't supposed to be that. And so I think a lot of people keep trying to make this big argument about, oh, that shit wasn't entertaining. It depends on what you look at as entertainment. It depends on what you look at for the value that it gave. Because I'd rather take the value from it instead of it being, you know, super entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even give a fuck either way. Like, some people
but a
are
lot of
making
people
some
say
people are making the conversation in regards to the show or the halftime show, like, oh, this big think piece and all of this breakdown of this, that, and the third, or whatever. Yeah, it was messages. Yes, it was this, that, and the other. The issue that I have with it is everybody keeps trying to force their opinion on somebody else. Your opinion is simply that, yours. Whether you enjoyed it, okay, cool. If you didn't, okay, cool. But the issue is that people keep trying to force their opinion on either side. And it's like, well, let's just let it be. You don't care. I mean, you didn't like it, they liked it, that's it, that's all. And so the whole back and forth and arguing, oh, but you don't get the symbolism, you don't get the messages. Oh, but you just think you woke. Like, all of the back and forth.
It ain't that deep.
It's not.
It's really not.
And that's what I keep saying. That's
but
what
every
I keep
time
saying.
Kendrick come out, it's always going to be that way.
If you didn't enjoy it, that's okay. If other people enjoyed it, that's okay. We don't have to keep arguing about whether or not it was enjoyable or not, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was grooving in the car because that's why I watched it. And I'm grooving like, oh, okay, get it, Kendrick.
Look here.
But that's me.
The amount of people that said a minor put a mic drop on that performance. Because at the start, I was like, ooh, ain't that many people. Okay. All right. But they kind of shaky.
But also, we have to look at it and understand, like, Kendrick is in his year. Let him have it. Everybody
give him his time.
I just wanted more
his turn. And it's his
time.
So you
everybody said it wasn't enough. What, Pablo?
Scissor. I need more scissor. That's all.
Yeah, I would have liked to see her more, but overall, like I said, people keep trying to do this whole argument back and forth shit about it. Let it rest. It's not that fucking deep.
Oh my gosh, a scissor doctor did his thing. Shout out to scissor.
Oh Lord. It's not that fucking deep though. So, y'all keep arguing. Y'all keep arguing. Y'all keep making y'all statements about it. But let people
was black. It wasn't.
This is my issue.
It wasn't Drake driven. Like the only thing that was driven
by
Drake was.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, nah.
I don't think it was Drake driven. No.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people think it is because he kept teasing not like us, but that's not what it was about. It never was about that.
There's a bigger message than that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, let
you put Wayne out there, bro. You can't tell me 6 songs Wayne could have played.
If y'all didn't like it, that's fine. If other people liked it, that's fine. Let it be what it was. That's not
an A minor chain. That's the logo from his PG Lang. Like literally, that's the little A in the logo.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what? Next year, we ain't gonna be talking about this. It's gonna be somebody else who's gonna be talking about.
Like people are ending friendships and blocking folks,
and blocking folks because y'all they didn't understand it, and you mad because it's just like, look, hey man, it ain't that serious. Find you something else to do.
How are folks biased? How are people biased? People have opinions, and that's okay. Like.
Yeah.
They can choose.
Leo, we live in a world where you can't like Biggie and Tupac at the same time.
Biased doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't make it factual.
Leo,
Mark said
live in a world
want Kendrick to be a rapper instead of an artist. Exactly. Because let's
can't like Biggie and Tupac at the same time, Leo. You can't like Nas and Jay-Z at the same time. This is the world we live in. Like you just can't like both of them at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Let's be motherfucking honest. Kendrick was never going to be the nigga that got up there and gave y'all the dancing and twerking. And no, Lil Wayne would not have been better to me.
Hell
Lil
no.
Wayne would have
No,
just been
absolutely.
asked. He would have been asked simply because Lil Wayne ain't performed at God knows how long.
I'm sorry, get that. Nah, that gremlin couldn't got up there and did that.
Wait a minute.
Lil Wayne would have never gave. He would have never gave any type of. We would have all been like, I know you fucking lying. Why is this dude on this TV?
Lil Wayne
No,
just
there was
performed
no
on
way
another
he
big
would have
stage.
entertained anybody. I'm
No,
sorry.
he would have
Lil
brought
Wayne would-
everybody with him.
WrestleMania.
It would have been Lil Wayne.
He would have had to
and
bring
friends.
everybody with him.
Yeah.
And he
No,
wouldn't have said a
Lil Wayne
word.
Lil Wayne just performed at WrestleMania, and that was horrible.
Bro, everything.
Oh,
Little Louisiana was horrible.
that was
WrestleMania
horrible.
or Royal Rumble?
No, I think it was. Which was the last one they just had?
The Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he
They
just
just had
performed at
Royal
that.
Rumble here. That's why I was asking.
Man.
Yeah, he just performed at that, and that was horrible.
Oh,
We
I'm
Like,
look.
he used to get lyrics to his own song.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
also,
what
was
was
black.
was
We
black.
are
You
not saying.
forgetting
clarify.
that
He said which one, and I said it was Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he just performed
Drip
at
is black. You forgetting the one major factor. The man that puts all this on, him and Wayne don't get along. Him and
Which
Drake
is
don't get
Jay-Z.
along. Yeah, so it wasn't gonna be
It would have
Wayne.
never happened. And we're not trying to say that you gotta have a degree to understand Kendrick. You absolutely do not.
Not at all.
You
I
don't.
think it's the fact that
Straightforward.
people
pretty
expected,
straightforward.
like Mark said, people expected Kendrick to perform like a rapper. He is not a rapper. He's an artist. There's a difference. And again, people are entitled to their opinions. Let people enjoy things. And
he's
that's
the
that
first
on
rapper
that.
to
Okay?
have the entire halftime show to himself.
Mark said it's not about not liking both. It's about one artist being for the culture when the culture needs our bright lights to speak for us. Drake has never been. He's not like us.
Exactly.
Dun, 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 dun.
But it's really a matter of we have to understand, like, it's too many of us out here not taking responsibility for the things we put out here, not taking responsibility for the things we say, and not taking our platforms seriously either. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
so
the thing.
Kendrick used his platform for what he felt he needed to do.
They kept
So,
saying that
whether
artists
you
need to
enjoyed
talk.
it or not, that's it.
That's what they always keep saying. Artists need to speak up. Artists need to say this. Artists need to say that. He
And
said
then
it.
when they do, this is what we get.
Yeah.
Yep.
When artists or people in the position to have a voice use their voice, now it's a matter of, you know what I'm saying? Now it's a matter of, oh, this ain't entertaining. Cause y'all wanted somebody up there like, mammy, what did y'all want them to do?
And that's, I guess, wait, Leo, I guess I've had that thought since Sunday. It's like when everybody kept saying like he didn't entertain. I'm thinking like,
yeah, like
Oh,
what
he
did
did-
y'all want
wait,
him to do?
hold on, let me
Shut
say
your
this.
job?
But what do y'all keep thinking like it clicked back to the mammy stories and the blackface and all of that. This was not about an entertain. We ain't built to entertain people. Let's get that clear.
And Drake
We
was in
ain't
blackface.
clowns. We not here to entertain nobody.
I ain't gonna
He
forget
used his platform for a message.
Yep.
And that is exactly what he did.
Sorry, Remy.
And at what point are we going to use what we got to look? If you ain't paid attention to nothing else, let me just go biblical on you. Your tongue is powerful. You hold life and death in the power of your tongue. At what point you going to use it in the right place, in the right space? He had millions of people watching. Why wouldn't he use it?
120.
Millions of people watching. Why wouldn't he use it?
And then 2 million
Because y'all wanted to
watching
be
after the Super Bowl on
entertained.
halftime show.
He didn't come to entertain you.
Yep.
With everything that's going on around us, you think he wasn't going to use that? At that point, that means you missed your shot, bro.
I would have did it too.
That time, in that moment, to do it.
Let me get on the stage and talk about all kind of things. I would have got up there and talked.
And here's the thing. The funny thing is, everybody acting
Right here
like
with
they
it,
talking about
okay?
some. Oh well, we
Y'all
can't
proud
believe.
talking about the Phat Girl Chronicles. If you gave me a stage, nigga, I'm gonna talk about it. So what are we doing?
But see, the thing is, they talking about something the NFL. You know, they didn't know he was about to do that. He had to rehearse,
He had to
And he
rehearse.
had to run the show past them.
and he had to run the show past him.
Every last
And
one of
then
them.
He had to
three,
tell them what he was doing. And he had to get it built, and he had to tell them what he was building. So they knew
But-
exactly what he was doing.
but this point right here, he teased it and then played it. And
Yeah.
did they stop him?
No.
No. That's the point. And they talking about something, oh, when he ain't invited back in it. They knew exactly what he was about to
I
do.
don't care.
And he don't care about not going
And he
back.
don't
He's
care.
not invited
He got
Exactly.
his money, he good.
They say
He
he's not
said what he
invited
needed
back.
to say. He got his paycheck and he gone about his business.
But
No,
that's
that's,
the other
that's the rumor they saying. He don't care
He
about
gonna
going
come
He don't
back.
care
If they
about
if,
that.
if
But
Jay-Z
they
about
don't
asked
get
him to,
paid
he gonna
for
come.
Yeah,
the
they don't get paid
halftime
for Super Bowls.
performances.
They actually pay.
Well,
They
they
actually-
said because that was a whole discussion, I believe, last year. When was that Rihanna last year?
I think it was Rihanna
When
last
did
year.
Rihanna do the show? The
Last year.
halftime show.
Yeah, it was last year because she just
it
had
was last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
In
that
the
was
red
the whole
outfit.
thing too that they were talking about. Oh, Rihanna came out to get that check from the Super Bowl, but she ain't made no album. But they were talking about how artists don't get paid for the Super Bowl.
They don't. They spend money to perform at the Super Bowl because they know that's the biggest entertainment, the most watched venue in the world. In the world.
And
So
he got a
they
tour coming.
pay.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah. They don't get paid for that.
No, last year wasn't that Usher?
Oh, somebody.
Was it? Yeah, it was Usher.
Oh, it
last
was
year. What
Usher.
was Rihanna?
It was Usher.
No, I was like,
It was
wait.
Usher last year. I think Rihanna
It was
I don't
it was
remember.
Usher, and then it was Alicia Keys with Usher in the red
Yeah,
outfit.
and then Rihanna was.
And
the year
then
before
Rihanna's the
that.
year before, right?
Okay.
right.
Rihanna was the year before.
And I ain't
Yeah,
gonna hold
thanks,
you.
Moses.
That Usher performance was kind of mid.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no, not the Riri. She was pregnant and all, but that was
Yeah.
kind of mid. Like
She had that acid reflux.
Now,
I'm done.
go to bed.
All right. Yeah, it is my bedtime. It is my bedtime.
I'm done with y'all.
But anywho, y'all.
there you go. I got my mid in right there.
There it
Thank
is.
you, Pablo.
Squoze it in. Squoze it in.
Because like this has been my whole irritation with social media, and I had to post it yesterday. Wrap this shit up by noon, cause y'all gonna keep this shit going on about Kendrick and about everybody being fake woke and fake social conscious. Listen, Linda and Linders. Nobody cares. Okay, have your.
See, hey, Elon Musk done suppressed her, done cut off.
Yeah.
Elon Musk done cut off. There it is.
There we go.
There it is.
She said,
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, you back. Muskrat done cut you off.
Nope. My alarm went off.
Oh.
Per usual, because it's a little later. But all I was gonna say was that let people enjoy shit. Like stop always criticizing or doing the other thing or making people feel bad about what they enjoy. Don't yuck nobody's yum. Let motherfuckers enjoy what they want to enjoy. That's it. That's all.
There we go.
Y'all be sitting up here having all of these arguments, raising your blood pressure, and for what? For what?
Just went to the doctor today. My blood pressure great.
Listen. That's
why? Because K-Dot put that bam, 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 bam on them.
And good night. Listen, we thank y'all for tuning in.
Wait, Leo, hold on, Leo.
Wait, what's up?
So, in the Jay-Z era, we had Shakira and J-Lo. The Weeknd, Dr. Dre and Friends, Rihanna, Usher, and Kendrick. I mean, this is better than what it used to be because it used to rotate. You can be white then black, white then black, white then black. So
You know what? I'm calling for a country music genre
Jay-Z era is
for
mid.
next Super Bowl, just to mix it, get a little razzle dazzle.
my man Jelly Roll.
Hey,
I actually
never
love
know.
Jelly Roll.
You never.
Man,
Hey,
Jelly Roll.
yeah.
I love Jelly Roll.
Teddy
Throw in a little
Swims.
Post Malone in there too.
Little Teddy
I'm
Swims.
trying to tell you.
Yo, Teddy Swims is killing it
Hey.
right now. Teddy
I'm just
Swims
saying.
is killing it right now.
I
Put
like
that on
Teddy
there.
and giving y'all a new song.
Who killing it? What you say,
Teddy
Mo?
Swims.
Teddy Swims.
Swims.
And then
That
Beyonce will
would
come
be
out
dope,
for a
too.
little whoop whoop,
Yep.
little shawoozy on
Mhm.
there.
Nah, I don't know.
I'm
I'm
trying to
cool
tell
with
you.
Beyonce. Let Beyonce be right now. I'm cool.
Nah, she got a song with
Yeah.
Jelly Roll. Nah, he said Jelly Roll don't love y'all. That's crazy.
Nah, but I could do it like what you just said. That whole lineup right there. I could do
Yeah,
that.
and little Shabuzi at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, I
Oh,
could
we
do that.
good.
I could
We'll
do
be
that.
good.
Mhm.
And nobody is saying that we should all agree. The point is that if people don't agree, that's okay. Y'all get on here arguing and trying to force narratives and force perspectives and force people to see shit your way. No, we can agree to disagree and move the fuck on.
Everything's
Nobody is
content,
saying
Leo.
we gotta agree on everything. What you say,
Everything's
Pablo?
content. Everything's content. That's all.
Right. I mean, I'm just like y'all up here ruining friendships and blocking folks. Like that goddamn deep. If they don't
Don't block
agree with your
anybody.
perspective, then let it be.
Don't block anybody. That adds on for entertainment and content for later.
Listen, just let it be.
Kane
What?
Brown. I don't know who Kane Brown is. I gotta check
I
that
don't
out.
know who Kane Brown is.
He
but
don't know who that
also-
is either.
Oh, okay.
What? Sir, I'm not driving to Florida. My Cash App is
All right, let me go ahead and pull this thing down.
FMG Cares is the cash
Leo
app.
Rochelle double no, it ain't even no underscore. It's $ Leo Rochelle. You can send all funds for a plane ticket to that Cash App whenever your heart so desires.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Yeah, you
So.
don't say that, Leo.
And put a little A minor on it.
Put the microphone around.
Put it on it.
Anywho, y'all,
Put that microphone up.
We finna get out of here, y'all. My
Shabuzi.
camera is not on because I switched to my laptop real quick and don't have none of my stuff set up. But
Not Lainey Wilson. That's crazy.
make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. We working our way up there. We are working to our 1K subscriptions. We need to push y'all. Help us reach that 1K. It's gonna be a celebration, but we are also getting ready to begin the countdown to 200 episodes because we are almost there. I will post the information on how many episodes we have coming soon, so that way we can start the celebration and get everything cracking. But we are almost there. We have been doing this thing for 4 years, and it will be 5 in September. So make sure y'all join us in Punta Cana, September 18th through the 22nd. We will be at the beautiful Royalton Chic Hotel and Resort, okay? September 18th through the 22nd. You can contact me for the link, but also you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and our Facebook group, the Phat Girl Chronicles podcast, and all of the information is listed there as well. Okay. You can also check out the information on Unforgettables page on Facebook and Instagram. We're gonna have a good damn time, so come join us. All right. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and sticking around because we went over a little bit tonight, but that's all right. We had a great time. Thank you again to our DEI homegirl for showing up, diving into DEI just a tad bit because there is so much more conversation to be had with that. We thank you again, homegirl. Make sure y'all check her out on all of her socials. Check out Fatness Fiction and all of that good stuff. But tonight, again, let people enjoy things. We finna get up out of here.
I got them isotoners no more. That's
We
crazy.
thank y'all so much. Whatever
He
you
got
do
them-
for
he
the
got them
rest of the
OJs.
evening and the rest of the week, don't do it with your half ass, y'all. Do it with your whole ass. All right. We appreciate y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in, and we up out of here. Love y'all. Love on somebody, and make sure that we
And
out
wrap
here
it up.
making
Long
good
on
choices,
somebody and love in somebody. You got one more week
making
to wrap it
sure
up.
we are
And
making
stay out the
good
backyard.
choices. Thank
Shabuzi.
you.
You gotta do it with your whole ass.